Hey everyone, welcome to FanFic Canon. Thanks for hitting play. I'm thrilled to bring this fan-made story to life for you. If you enjoy the ride and want more narrated fanfics, smash, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you want audiobook of a novel of your choice, join my Patreon. Request any title that's freely available online, and I'll produce a full narration just for you. Now, let's dive into today's adventure.
Urza and the others were completely thrown when Ye Qiu suddenly vanished. They did the only thing they could think of, rush straight to Master Makarov to report it. While they were at it, they also took the chance to show off a little in front of the other guild masters, letting them see just how much potential fairy tale really had. It was just a pity Ye Qiu didn't get to see the demon lullaby, the monster created by Zeref, in person. With the half-dead Eli Gore in tow, Ye Qiu stepped back through space and returned to the campus of Yue High. Bang! The impact shook the floor. All Might didn't even flinch. He was used to this by now. Lately, Ye Qiu loved to disappear without warning, and every time he vanished, something bizarre happened somewhere in the world. You are. All Might looked at the figure Ye Qiu had tossed down. The last two people Ye Qiu had dragged in were that hungry wolf and Dr. Kinos. According to Kinos, aside from being a bit of a research lunatic and drawing blood from students a little too often, there wasn't anything too unacceptable about him. This guy's got a rotten personality, Ye Qiu said casually, so I brought him here to help renovate Yue a bit. If he's around, I'm sure the upcoming sports festival will get a lot more interesting. His strength is more than enough for him to be a teacher here. He dropped Eli Gore on the ground like a sack of trash. All Might gave a bitter smile. Ye Qiu, I know you care about Yue, but we really do have enough teachers. You don't need to keep recruiting more. Then let me ask you this, Ye Qiu said. Since Hungry Wolf showed up, have the students in the hero course improved their physical abilities faster? Yes, All Might admitted. Ye Qiu continued smoothly, and Dr. Kinos. Has he developed anything useful? From somewhere off to the side, Kinos pushed his glasses up. Of course. Then that's enough, Ye Qiu said. Yue isn't losing anything by bringing in more talent. This year, the hero course only managed to pull in this many promising students. Don't tell me that's not related to the number of excellent teachers who are actually willing to work here. He looked straight at All Might. You don't have to shoulder everything yourself. In today's world, almost everyone has a quirk. High school can guide some of them onto the path of becoming heroes, but there will always be potential quirk users who step onto the path of crime instead. The number of heroes isn't keeping up like it used to. Heroes grow stronger. But the things crawling in the dark grow faster. Ye Qiu didn't believe a handful of hero students was enough to stabilize society forever. If they didn't expand, sooner or later, this world would end up as dangerous as the one-punch world. What you're saying does make sense, All Might said quietly. But are you sure the person you brought this time is really qualified in terms of strength? In his eyes, Hungry Wolf and Dr. Kinos were one of a kind. You didn't just find people like that every day. The world wasn't exactly tiny, but with modern information networks, truly strong and talented people usually didn't stay buried for long. Unless they were like the users of One for All, hiding in the shadows on purpose, doing things no one could see. At that moment, the man on the ground groaned. This guy is awake, Ye Qiu said. Eli Gore's eyes snapped open. The moment he saw Ye Qiu, they filled with naked fear. Don't stare at me, Ye Qiu said flatly. This isn't the Kingdom of Fiori, and there are no magic guilds here. Kingdom of Fiori? Magic guild? Why did all that sound exactly like something out of the manga he used to read? Have the dark organizations in this world gone Chinibu or what? It was obvious even to All Might that Eli Gore had been captured by Ye Qiu. The evil wolf brat Ye Qiu mentioned was completely lawless. If All Might hadn't literally beaten some sense into him a few times, he would have been running wild by now. Ye Qiu, as a special advisor, was perfect in almost every way. Except he was too strong. So strong that sometimes even All Might was left with nothing to say in response. We're all supposed to be kids, so why can't Ye Qiu just be a bit more normal? All Might thought helplessly. Eli Gore glared at Ye Qiu, rage barely contained. If not for the overwhelming difference in strength, he would have already lunged forward to kill this guy. If the demons created by the resurrected Zeref appeared, Iron Forest could crush the other dark guilds and rise to the top. Whether light or dark, every guild wanted to be the strongest. Eli Gore was no exception. "Where is this place?" he asked in a low voice. "This is Yue Hai," Ye Qiu replied. "A school that specializes in training heroes. If it's easier for you, you can think of it as a place that trains mages. But the power these people use is different from the magic you know." A place dedicated to training mages? Eli Gore had never heard of such a thing. But as a freshly defeated Dark Guild member, as long as this wasn't the Magic Council, he could at least accept it. "Why did you bring me here?" Eli Gore asked. "Because someone as vicious as you is exactly what Yue needs to stir things up," Ye Qiu said calmly. "When students are raised by nothing but good people, they do grow up decent. But there's always something missing. Light and darkness are the same. If one side monopolizes the entire world, then that world is already warped. Light and darkness are both necessary for a world to exist. Where there is light, there will be shadow. Where there is shadow, some light will eventually fall." In Ye Qiu's eyes, Eli Gore was a controlled darkness that Yue could actually use. The real weirdos, the ones that plagued this world, were different. Their humanity was mostly gone. Their negative energy was so thick it was almost tangible. Ye Qiu didn't want Yue's hero students sharing a campus with that kind of thing. He'd rather gather a strike team in the future and wipe them out completely than keep them caged and risk contaminating everyone's minds. "Kill, kill, kill. I'll kill you all." Even in this situation, Eli Gore, the so-called God of Death, refused to give up his murderous aura. His performance made All Might frown instantly. This wasn't a difficult student. This was a criminal, plain and simple. "Mr. All Might," Ye Qiu said with a grin, "you haven't gone all out against evil in a long time, right? How about using this guy to warm up? Better to move your body a little than sit in the staff room watching other teachers all day, don't you think?" What would happen to Eli Gore in the hands of a fired-up All Might was obvious. He got beaten half to death. All Might didn't kill him, but he pounded him so hard Eli started doubting his entire life. Magic? From Eli's point of view, All Might hadn't used any magic at all. No spells, no circles, no casting. It was pure, overwhelming physical power. Every gust of wind magic Eli threw out was blown apart by All Might's fists as if it were nothing. He had never seen anything like it. In all his memories, there was no such monster. The more he fought, the more lost he felt. Where was this place? Even Ye Qiu was strange to him. The power these people used felt totally different from the magic he knew. The energy they released wasn't magic power at all. "All right," Ye Qiu said calmly. "If you don't want to keep getting picked up and slammed around, then stay here at Yue Hai and behave yourself. Change a little. You'll find this world is a lot better than you think. At the very least, you don't have to worry about the Magic Council chasing you, and nobody here cares about a dark guild called Iron Forest." Yue Hai? To Eli, it sounded like the name of some strange guild. But wherever people gathered, there was light and darkness. That was something Ye Qiu himself had said earlier, and Eli remembered it clearly. As long as the Magic Council wasn't around, he believed he could rebuild Iron Forest again someday. Even if he couldn't beat All Might, he was confident he'd still be one of the strongest mages. "Stop thinking about going back to your guild," Ye Qiu went on. "I didn't say it in front of All Might because it wasn't the right time, but I'll tell you now, going back is no longer an option. In fact, even the world you lived in isn't really there for you anymore. So whether you're Dark Guild or Light Guild doesn't matter now. What you need to do is choose a new life." He looked Eli in the eye. "Of course, if you don't want that, I can end this life for you and let you try again somewhere else." "Not my world anymore?" Eli struggled to process what Ye Qiu was saying. But when he thought about it seriously, it did make a twisted kind of sense. If this were still the kingdom of Fiore, how could there be a monster like All Might that he had never even heard of? Maybe this really wasn't Fiore. The world was big. A hidden region, a different land, another plane, all of it was possible. It wasn't impossible that he'd been dragged somewhere far beyond his own map. "Anyway, I've said what I needed to say," Ye Qiu finished. "Don't cause trouble here. If you do, There might come a time when even I can't save you. After repeating the warning, Ye Qiu handed Eli Gore over to Dr. Kinos. Study him, Ye Qiu said. See what's different between people from other worlds and people from here. How a similar species developed a totally different power system. Kinos' eyes lit up immediately. Whether it was UA students or natives from the One-Punch world like Hungry Wolf, they had already given him a mountain of genetic samples. This was fun. Far more interesting than his old House of Evolution project. Back then, he'd been forced into UA's world under Ye Qiu's crushing pressure. Now, he wanted to be here. Diving into cross-world genetics, dissecting power systems, cataloging quirks, esper powers, magic, and everything between. Ye Qiu could cross worlds. That meant he would keep bringing back more samples. More data. More strange abilities. If this continued long enough, Kinos believed that, someday, his personal gene bank would produce a being far beyond Azura Rhino. A truly perfect life form. Ye Qiu couldn't see the full extent of that madness in Kinos' heart, and he didn't really care. Having ambitions was fine. As long as he could keep those ambitions under control, it was acceptable. Later, Ye Qiu went to find All Might again to settle another issue. The license for the hero office, Ye Qiu said. Whose name did you end up using? All Might sighed, opened a drawer, and pulled out a brand new business license. Strictly speaking, you shouldn't be able to get this yet, he said. But Xiangshan Sleeping is a pro hero, and she's strong enough, even if she has a lot of free time. I used her name to get you an office registered. I assume you have no complaints. No problem, Ye Qiu said. As long as the hero office exists, I don't care whose name is on the sign. After getting the license he wanted, Ye Qiu added a few more resources to UA's exchange room, took a day to rest, then jumped back over to the One-Punch world the next day. Ye Qiu, those people you brought over all have psychic powers. Fubuki greeted him with a face full of resentment. Wakurojuin and Hong Dongmei weren't insanely strong yet, but under Tatsumaki's brutal training, their psychic power had skyrocketed. As a B-class hero ranked #1, Fubuki could feel the gap closing behind her, and it annoyed her more than she wanted to admit. When Wakurojuin and Hong Dongmei saw Ye Qiu again, their expressions had clearly changed. There was more confidence there now. There are plenty of people with powers, Ye Qiu said. But if you stay stuck in B-class forever, that's just wasting your own potential. He spoke as if he were simply pointing out a basic fact. You're talking about what you mentioned before, aren't you? Fubuki said. What exactly do you want me to do for this hero office of yours? I'll take you there today, Ye Qiu replied. I think you'll like it. His tone softened. Compared to the One-Punch world, which was overflowing with monsters, his UA world was practically a paradise for women. Fubuki was someone who didn't enjoy slugging it out with weirdos. Even with powerful psychic abilities, she didn't have a deep hero sense of duty. To Ye Qiu, that made her perfect to manage a hero office rather than spend every day covered in monster guts. We're going back? Hong Dongmei asked, face a bit pale. Cruel. As her strength increased, she had seen more of the truth of that world. People with weak wills kept getting swallowed up by some strange, corrupting force and turning into monsters. Their humanity slowly vanished, and they fell into bloodlust and madness. But in fighting those monsters, both she and Wakurojuin had gradually grown into their roles as heroes. Heroes. The ones who stand up in the chaos. The ones who reach out when everyone else is collapsing. The ones who insist on staying human in a world that keeps trying to stop them. It's okay, you still have to come here to practice with Miss Tornado in the future. Ye Qiu seemed to see through Hong Dongmei's thoughts and patted her shoulder. Humph. You'd better bring them less. Don't think that I lost to you once, and I will lose to you a second time. The trembling dragon roll said arrogantly. Ye Qiu didn't refute either. Without the trembling tornado, the strength of the two women would never have improved so quickly, and it was too late to thank him. According to Ye Qiu's current philosophy, the heroes firm he established is not just composed of heroes from one world. If this is the case, then the object to be served is definitely not only the My British world. Make the scale of the firm so large that it can accept the tasks of any world. For example, in the fairy tale world in the future, there will be countless giant dragons. Ye Qiu doesn't really think that he can get too many things to improve his strength from the fairy tale world. But as the saying goes, the dragons in the east are sacred and inviolable, and you can get some dragon blood from the west to improve your strength. Even something like the Earth Dragon Elder can improve the quality of the body. Ye Qiu still doesn't believe that a dragon with such a powerful force in the fairy tale world, flesh and blood, is really useless. Let's go, I really want to see if what you said is true. Helfubuki pointed at his chin, obviously still very interested in Ye Qiu's words. After all, this guy is a little too mysterious. S-rank heroes are almost mysterious beings, but compared to this guy who only fights against dragon-rank disasters and kills random people when he sees them, the others are at best a little weirder. Hit it off. Except for the trembling tornado, the three girls followed behind Ye Qiu. It was still the familiar apartment. Because Ye Qiu took the door away, Ye Jia and the four girls also stayed in the world of Ipu for a while. Fortunately, the practice at Banga Dojo was also smooth. You. Look at the woman beside Ye Qiu. Helfubuki is speechless. I've seen such a sweetheart. I've never seen such a sweetheart. Simply insane. Ye Qiu glanced at her. Just do things well. As for my death, you don't need to worry too much. Can you not worry about hemp? Helfubuki felt that he was about to be harmed by Ye Qiu. The ghost knows what kind of means that guy used to harm so many young girls. No, Ye Qiu seems to be the youngest. The more Helfubuki thought about it, the more headaches became. It was really hard for her to accept such strange things. But thinking about his status as the #1 B-level heroes, no matter what means Ye Qiu uses, he won't succumb to his claws. Ye Qiu, have you been doing anything recently? Ye Jia looked at Ye Qiu with some doubts. After disappearing for such a long time, Ye Qiu must be hiding something from them. Otherwise, how could they have been allowed to stay in this dangerous world for so long? It's okay. After a while, the sports festival is about to start. I feel that the faculty in the academy is somewhat lacking. I plan to find some people with good strength and let those professional heroes' offices take a look at our Xiangying High School. That's why I wasted some time. Ye Qiu said casually. Are you looking for someone again? What the evil wolf said last time, even the 114 women who had been cultivating for half a month did not feel that she was an opponent. All in all, every time Ye Qiu finds people, they are people who are enough to stand on their own in the hero's world. Do you mean to go to another world? Ye Qiu. It was rare to look at Ye Qiu with watery eyes. Ye Qiu smiled bitterly. It's not that I can't take you there, but it's just very suitable for traveling, and there aren't many opportunities for cultivation. So, I don't think it's necessary to go there for the time being. Suitable for travel. Hearing Ye Qiu's words, not only did the girls not feel lost, but their eyes became brighter. In addition to shopping, there is only such a thing as travel, which is very attractive to women. If they can see the beautiful scenery of many different worlds in a limited life, it will be very attractive to them. Is really a bit scary. Hell Blizzard, Wave Luowan, and Hung Dongmei's 3 daughters didn't know Ye Qiu's secret, so they didn't know that Ye Qiu had the ability to traverse the world. But each time he traversed a world, the price he had to pay was too great. However, they are still very interested in traveling. No, in just a few words, the girls became familiar with each other, but instead they threw Ye Qiu, the master of the house, aside. With a wry smile, after Ye Qiu took out the door, the first time he passed through the door of hell-blowing snow, he was still shocked by the sight. It was a time that existed in her imagination, and it was calm without a trace of weirdness, so that Helfubuki, who was used to being heroes, felt the peace from her heart. This is really another world, right? Helfubuki's eyes became a little blurry. Wave Luowan and Yi Dongmei had such guesses before, and when Helfubuki said it, they looked at Ye Qiu with shocked and puzzled eyes. Ye Qiu said casually, since there are all kinds of magical superpowers in this world, why can't we have the ability to travel through time and space? Hiss. Take a breath. So horrible. Why is there still such ability in the world? Helfubuki even thought of one thing. If Ye Qiu really has the ability to travel through time and space, then when he encounters danger, if he uses this ability directly, wouldn't he be invincible? What a terrible person. What a terrible superpower. That? Ye Qiu, can I go back? 3.8. Fushue took a deep breath with a firm look in his eyes. Why? Yifan asked Qiu a question. It's good here, but for me, a B-level hero's #1. If I covet the peace here and forget my responsibilities as a hero's, it's a great way to recognize me. To be a hero's is utterly irresponsible, Fubuki said seriously. When the other women heard her words, they looked at her with a hint of approval. He never thought that Fubuki would have such a responsibility in his heart. The living environment in the one-punch world is really a little too bad, even if their strength is improving rapidly, but if they want to live in that world, they will still resist from the bottom of their hearts. Ye Qiu chuckled. I used to underestimate you. S-rank heroes is amazing. As a hero's, there is no rank. I just do what I need to do. Fushue raised his head a little arrogantly. I finally found some ground in front of this guy. This is my pride as a hero's. How can I be looked down upon by others? Although Fubuki is not so keen on becoming an A-level hero's, she has never hesitated to eliminate monsters, and this is not something that needs to be hesitated. It was originally a hero's. Should be responsible. Don't worry, I didn't tell you not to go back. Also, don't you think I'm more suitable to destroy those weirdos than you? There was a stern look in Ye Qiu's eyes. Fubuki was stunned for a moment and looked at Ye Qiu with a strange expression. This guy is not ranked high among the S-rank heroes, but his murderousness is definitely the top. Even her arrogant older sister, who is 12 incomparably strong in terms of strength, does not always focus her energy on eliminating weirdos. S-class heroes are human too. Moreover, as an S-rank heroes, he is also a person who wants an identity, so how can he take action every day to eliminate those weird people who seem to be inconspicuous at all? Ye Qiu, an S-class heroes, is not like this. He is simply a reincarnation of a malevolent star. What low-level weirdo? As long as you see it, kill it. As for whether it has any impact on his reputation, Ye Qiu doesn't care at all, because in the communication, Blowsnow can see that Ye Qiu has never paid attention to those remarks on the internet at all. Nor is he restricted to eliminating dragon-level disasters, just it was due to luck that every disaster he saw was a dragon-level disaster. Well, I'm willing to admit defeat. I just hope that our S-class heroes can eliminate a little more freaks. Fubuki regained the look of a strong woman. Blizzard Office. A firm made up entirely of heroes makes people feel heartbroken just thinking about it. These sisters around her are the members of her future Fubuki office, and the strength of these members makes Fubuki very satisfied. There is no weak person. Yes, not a weakling. Since it is a person from another world, Fubuki probably also has a conjecture, that is, all people in this world have superpowers. They must all have superpowers, otherwise it is completely inexplicable why everyone around Ye Qiu has superpowers. Walking on the street, Jigaku Fubuki really verified his own ideas. Many people in this world can see completely different characteristics from humans. According to Bai's instructions, this is the manifestation of the evolution of quirks by humans. The so-called superpowers are the potentials that are originally hidden in the human body. What a magical world! Moreover, this is a world that makes people feel comfortable, and it is really impossible to see such messy existences as weirdos. There may be crimes, but it's more like the rule of law world before the birth of the one-punch world freaks. Fubuki Office, a newly built hero's office. Even if it was just built, the luxurious decoration inside still amazes Fubuki. Compared to her Fubuki group base, this place is many times more gorgeous. Ye Qiu, it seems that you are really a local tyrant in this world. Fubuki is obviously very satisfied with this firm. Forget it, I don't know how much money I have now, it's just a number anyway, and it doesn't mean anything to us people. Ye Qiu said indifferently. I have said before that the business of this firm is not only for the human beings in this world, but for all the worlds. Although I have no way to expand the business to other worlds now, there are still opportunities in the future. Before again, let's work hard to improve our strength. In Fairy Tale World, there are still a lot of business needs in the future, and they can get a little good reward. Ye Qiu thinks that it is better to improve his strength first before he can face the great terror in the future of Fairy Tale World. Ye Qiu, be careful too, don't try too hard. Bai looked at Ye Qiu with some distress. His own little man seemed to have a big dream hidden in his heart. As Ye Qiu's only fiancé, he could only stand behind Ye Qiu silently to support him. I'm fine, I will definitely become the strongest person and stand in front of you to protect you. For me, only by constantly becoming stronger can I prove the meaning of my existence. Don't worry too much, with my no matter where it goes, there will be no mortal danger. If you want to defeat Ye Qiu, many people can do it, but if you want to kill Ye Qiu, it is a very difficult thing. Familiarize yourself with the environment here first, and by the way, take Helbuki to learn about our world. After she fully understands, everyone will start accepting heroes' tasks. Each of you is very important to me. Existence. But even so, I hope you can go to Helbuki's world. We are heroes, and we can't live too easily. Can't be too comfortable. Even with the little b asterisk 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 d Ye Qiu, everyone has not forgotten their hero's identity. Originally, I wanted to be an outstanding heroes in this society, but how could I give up my previous dream just because I found someone I liked? 880. With Jigaku Fubuki, a person with enough management experience to take charge of the office, soon a huge office began to operate according to the normal rules and regulations. 3 days, just 3 days in the world, the flyers of Fubuki office increased in the city, and with the promotion of the medicinal bath package, the number of people who knew Fubuki office gradually increased. The physique is strong, and Quirks has tempered it more solidly. The reputation of Fubuki office has gradually spread around. Yu Shanyu, who has a reputation and does not have a veteran powerhouse, who occasionally comes to help, is a heroes from another firm, so for this firm, most of the staff do not have professional heroes qualifications. Keep an eye on it, especially the quirks they have. It's really heartwarming. On Ye Qiu's side, he was going to go to the world of fairy tale to find Mira to learn to receive magic, but he didn't expect to see a good show before he left. Boom. That night, Wave Luowan and Hong Dongmei, who were responsible for staying behind to clean up the documents, were directly shocked by the loud noise. The defense is still a comprehensive office, and a big skeleton was opened directly by someone. Ugly monster. Several ugly monsters directly destroyed the walls of the office to the extent that it was difficult to repair. Kind of interesting. The corner of Ye Qiu's mouth rose slightly, but he didn't think that the idiots of League of Villains, why every time they were staring at him, they really didn't grow their brains and didn't teach them a lesson. Do you want me to take action? Ye Qiu asked. Wakanoka grinned and said, no. After returning from Fubuki and the others, I haven't been able to move my hands and feet properly. The hero's quest in our world is simply too easy compared to killing monsters. I hate it. Man, don't do it. The arrogant Wave Luowan is still very unhappy with Ye Qiu, especially how Fubuki also subconsciously regards her and Hong Dongmei as the woman Ye Qiu likes. Humph. This girl will never give in to that nasty guy. With a little arrogant wave scroll, she has been waiting for a long time. She wants to let Ye Qiu, this nasty guy, know how strong she is now. Sooner or later, her strength will surpass that nasty guy Ye Qiu. Hong Dongmei, the eyes girl, also carefully supported her glasses. Mr. Ye Qiu, please don't take action this time. I know, they're the ones who have their eyes on my brother. I used to be not strong enough. Now I have a little confidence in my own strength, so please let me deal with these guys myself. Then you all work hard. If there is really a problem, I will take action. So, as long as these guys don't provoke me, I will never move. Ye Qiu took a corner seriously and sat down again. There are no shortcuts in the cultivation of inner strength unless there is some kind of natural and earthly treasure. Recently, Ye Qiu's mentality has entered a stable stage. Basically, he is accumulating his own Jiuyang Qi. Nor did going to the world of One Punch bring that little joy of death to the geeks. Go! The wave coil is still very agile for this kind of thing, and it directly displays its own quirks instinctively. Nomu, who was extremely defensive, instantly had a rotating wound in his abdomen, and Nomu himself was directly blasted out of the office. Kind of interesting, concentrating the power in a little burst? Ye Qiu really didn't check what the two girls had learned from the trembling tornado, But he didn't expect that the wave spill gave up his original large-scale attack, but instead concentrated his power on a single point, resulting in a more explosive power. Congeal. On Hung Dongmei's side, after the wave's spiral scroll made an attack, he quickly responded, with an incomparably cold aura on his fingertips and instantly wrapped around the flying Nomu, a sharp spear of ice, instantly. It is to penetrate Nomu's body. Auto-repair? Impossible. Nomu's physical function is indeed incomparably powerful, but under the freezing effect controlled by Hong Dongmei, there is still a trace of temporary necrosis in the surrounding cells and tissues. Kind of interesting. The trembling tornado was indeed bold, and it only took so long to completely change the way the two girls fought. Good. In the past, when fighting criminals, you could cast quirks without any scruples, resulting in too much distribution of power and never paying attention to the cooperation between yourself and your teammates. At least for now, the two women's quirks are well developed, and they also show a surprising side in terms of cooperation. There are as many as 4 Nomo who rushed into the office from the hole. Because of Ye Qiu's ancient times, the AFO had realized that Nomu was not as powerful as he thought. However, his quirks are very strong. After all, it can be said to be one of the strongest quirks in the world. So, it's just a matter of finding more useless people and turning them into helpful companions to the world. For the cause of mankind, of course, someone needs to sacrifice. If one Nomu is not enough, then a bunch of powerful Nomu will be created. No matter how strong Ye Qiu is, he is only one person. Moreover, the basic AFO information, All Might, should have passed the Ofei ability to the new successor. In such a short period of time, it is absolutely impossible for the new heir to grow up so quickly. Because of the ability to be given out, occasionally Miao's strength will decline sharply in a short period of time, so this is their chance. As long as they create countless Nomu, in the future League of Villains really wants to fight with all might when the time comes. You must be able to gain the upper hand. After the first Nomu and Hung Dongmei teamed up to get the first Nomu out of the office, they both rushed out of the office from the hole at the fastest speed. After all, where he lives and works, how can he allow these monsters to destroy wantonly? After rushing out of the office, the two women were instantly surrounded by 4 Nomu. Presumably there should be people from the League of Villains secretly. Ye Qiu didn't find out where the person was for the time being, but he was confident that if the mouse hiding in the dark made a move, he would definitely make those guys regret it. Gah! Nomu's speed is very fast. After all, it is made to deal with the monsters of All Might. It is extremely terrifying in terms of physical potential. Whether it is speed or strength, it is the top existence. When the 4 Nomu and the Nomu who fell to the ground and slowly got up, moved quickly, Hashitomi and Wakazaki instantly felt the pressure. Ice World. This move is somewhat similar to the one who used Ice Age to shock everyone after eating devil fruit. However, compared to the Ice Age, it is obvious that the world of ice and snow in Dongmei is only a move that controls the effect of the field, and it only turns the street into a world of ice and snow in an instant. On the flat ground, Nomu's movement speed is extremely fast, but in the world of ice and snow, Nomu has no speed advantage. The speed is one piece, the huge body is showing signs of slipping, and it is impossible to find the feeling of moving on ice and snow in a short time. On the contrary, it was the two women who had already begun to cooperate gradually under the training of the trembling tornado. Naturally, they could easily dodge on top of the ice and snow. Under the feet of the wave's spiral, it is full of the power of the spiral. Every time she takes a step, the ice and snow under her feet will be instantly destroyed by the force of the spiral, money, so every step she takes is on the ground. After Nomu's speed advantage disappeared, coupled with the instability of his body, the situation was reversed in an instant. Cooperating with the quirks of the wave coil, Hung Dongmei's hands are also constantly appearing sharp ice spears. Puncture flow. The trembling tornado named the way the two of them fought, the piercing flow, and the two forces had the effect of piercing everything. The superposition of the two terrifying powers makes their villains not so pleasant. On Nomu's side, under the attack of the two terrifying piercing powers, there was already a trace of subsequent weakness. What about invincible defense? As far as the power system of the Huxiao world is concerned, the so-called defense is based on the softness of quirks. As long as the strength can break through the limit of that defense, everything can be broken. The idea transmitted by the trembling tornado is that as long as you are strong enough, you can kill all villains. Pierce, pierce, pierce. The means of attack are relatively simple, but as far as cooperation is concerned, the cooperation between Hong Dongmei and Wave Spiro can be said to be almost perfect, and there is no problem. Under the constant piercing attacks of the two, even Nomu, who had a strong recovery ability among the quirks, was unable to recover. Hidden in the dark, Kirojiri, who controls this group of Nomu, is broken inside. I thought that after a monster like the old Admiral Nomu was created, it was time for their League of Villains to rule the world. Only, starting from the little-known boy Ye Qiu, it seems that the whole world is struggling with their League of Villains. Nomu has sent out a lot, but none of them can go back. It is the hero's killer who is undergoing transformation. I believe that when he is released by the boss, it is not the heroes who hunted down some offices. I am afraid that the heroes on the heroes' rankings become his prey. I feel sorry for Nomu. Kirojiri is really distressed. Because of making Nomu, they have already made countless gangsters disappear from the streets. Before the change, no one would care about the lives of those gangsters, but now, the police and the Heroes Agency are already eyeing them League of Villains. 880. It's all that damn special advisor at Xionging High School. The guy who came out of nowhere has ruined their plans again and again, and the dead would handle hanging. The air cultivated by the boss, under the blow of that guy, has a great mental problem. I haven't been able to come out recently. Fubuki office, a new office. The reason why League of Villains is eyeing this office is that on the one hand this office has a lot of connections with that guy Ye Qiu, and the other is all the members here. Quirks are very special, so special that the boss is discouraged. Level. If you can get the quirks of these guys, the boss will be able to create more powerful monsters. But this group of people, the growth rate is a bit too fast. Obviously a few are still students, but they all have the strength on the professional heroes rankings. As far as the two below fighting Nomu, Kirojiri can be very sure that even some heroes on the leaderboard are not as strong as these two quirks. Also, the quirks of these two people are not too specific to Nomu. Too much. Nomu didn't even have the chance to make a shot. He was always suppressed, and in that icy and snowy environment, he couldn't do everything neatly. Maybe when I go back this time, I have to suggest to the boss to make more Nomu that can fly, or Nomu that can cope with various environments. Quirks, what a terrifying existence that people cannot resist. Especially the group of quirks who are inclined towards Logia. Each quirks is daunting, but also very troublesome. After all Might is only a physical powerhouse. If Nomu is against All Might, he will be able to suppress him in a short period of time. But when I met Logia's quirks, it was really suppressed. Knowing Nomu's speed, it is still getting faster and faster. The power of ice and snow that blasts Dongmei is eating away at the cells of Nomu's body step by step. When these cells are completely eaten into a frozen state, an incomparably huge body it fell to the ground. Fix 1 and 4 more. The wave spiral was a little excited. Hung Dongmei's side also showed a hint of excitement. The shivering tornado senior said, well, if you can cooperate well in battle, you can at least deal with ghost-level monsters. We are also A-level heroes' strength. The strength of A-rank heroes. Except for Mr. All Might and his father, in our world, there should be very few people whose strength is comparable to that of an S-class heroes. Hung Dongmei has a little pride in her heart. If she is comparable to A-level heroes, her strength can already be on the heroes' rankings. Thinking that when I was in my father's Endeavor office, I was just an inconspicuous little transparent. Because of quirks and strength, there was no task at all. It wasn't until several meetings with Ye Qiu that Hung Dongmei felt that her destiny had undergone tremendous changes. After practicing with the trembling tornado for a while, I joined the Fubuki office again. Hung Dongmei now feels her worth and is being recognized step by step. This is what she likes. What a great father, what a genius brother, although they are all her relatives, but she also looks like a hero to be recognized by others. Wave Luowan was naturally able to feel the pain in this elder sister's heart and smiled cheerfully. Sister Dongmei, it's all right. From now on the two of us will form a mission together, and we will definitely be invincible in the world. Combining missions? Thinking about the four beauties around Ye Qiu, they are already very familiar with them. Because of their relationship with Ye Qiu, the two of them are not as close as the other four women, so they are more responsible for the office of Helbuki Snow. People just communicate. However, when I arrived in Helfubuki in the New World, I was completely addicted to the shopping atmosphere in addition to work. All the rewards from the tasks, as well as the sun Ye Qiu gave her, were all used by Helbukabuki for shopping. Often when it's time to get off work, Helfubuki disappears from everyone's sight on time. Okay, let's act together in the future. Hung Dongmei nodded heavily. Inexplicably, she and the little girl who is still in high school have become good sisters who can talk about everything. The relationship between people is really unexpected and magical. After the mood became clearer, the two women's direct cooperation almost rose to a new level. Ye Qiu felt that he had sat cross-legged for a short while and seemed to get up. Clap, clap, clap. Applauding the two women, Ye Qiu both showed an expression of approval. Amazing! I never thought that the shivering tornado little girl would have such a great talent in teaching people. Puff, it seems that I want you to have more contact with that girl in the future. Consultant Ye Qiu, I will definitely tell Sister Long on what you said next time. Spiral curled his lips. At present, the only one who can take care of Ye Qiu, the eccentric consultant who always makes her angry, is their sister Luowan. Tell her, it's my defeat anyway. Okay, I'm going out to do business. I'm relieved to see that you guys can easily take care of these bastards. Ye Qiu's tone was indeed quite relaxed. If the two women can't defeat Nomu, or if they show a slightest bit of incompetence when fighting Nomu, then he won't leave for the time being. However, the results still made him feel happy. Whether it's Hung Dongmei or Wave Spiral, in the battle with Nomu, they all showed a perfect fighting level. They have such a level, Ye Qiu will naturally feel at ease to go to Fairy Tale World. Back at the office, Ye Qiu took out the random door again. It was a bit presumptuous to take Eli Gore away last time. I hope that when I go to Fairy Tale again this time, I will not be picked up by Urza. Just can you beat it? This is a good question to think about. Arbitrary Gate has been to the Fairy Tale World once. In theory, Ye Qiu can go to any place that Ye Qiu knows in the Fairy Tale World. There was a small river behind the Fairy Tale Guild where Mila was washing dishes. It could be seen that there was a red door in front of her eyes, and the person walking out from the door really made her feel familiar. Strange again. Hello, Mr. Ye Qiu. Mira gave a sweet greeting. Ye Qiu shuddered. Miss Mira, we should have a good relationship. Can you talk to me? I'm really not used to this way. I'm not afraid that the goddess looks good, but I'm afraid that kind of beautiful female man will suddenly transform into a well-behaved voice and speak to you in a soft and cute tone. Black belly. If I had to use one word to describe Ye Qiu's impression of Mila, then these two words are the most suitable. Why, isn't Mr. Ye Qiu a fan of mine? From what I see now, any words like fans should be deceiving others. Mila had an expression of wanting to cry but no tears. If others saw it, they would really think that Ye Qiu had bullied this poor girl. How is that possible? I am Miss Mila's most loyal fan. You must have misunderstood something. It's just that when I met Miss Gora before, most of them were in pictorials and magazines, and I didn't see a real person, so I was a bit confused. Not suitable for Miss Myra's enthusiasm. Ye Qiu twitched the corners of his mouth. Mila squinted her eyes and smiled. Mr. Ye Qiu is joking. We met in the guild before. As your idol, I think it's better for me to remind you. Elsa and the others snatched Eli Gore from them. Elsa and the others are looking for you everywhere. Just in time, I also want to meet them. Speaking of which, I really want to promise Urza and teach her something. Ye Qiu touched his chin. By the way, the people of the Magic Council, shouldn't they arrest me? Yes. The President and Urza have already reported everything to the Magic Council. Your portrait has been circulated in the town. I believe that as long as you show up on the streets, there's sure to be a lot of people willing to tell the Magic Council, but there's a lot of prize money. Mila looked at Ye Qiu cutely. Ye Qiu twitched the corners of his mouth. Eli Goer said that he still beat him. What kind of hatred and what kind of hatred? Why should he report to the Magic Council? This is not a matter of business. How can he enter and leave the kingdom of Fiore in the future? Trouble. Really troublesome. Why do I seem to be a person who wants to fight everywhere in every world? Can I live peacefully for a while? With a hint of helplessness, Ye Qiu thought for a while and directly used the ability of a little fruit to turn his hair and eyebrows into a state of flame. Mila, miss, do you think I'll be reported to the Magic Council when I'm walking around town like this? Ye Qiu pointed to himself and asked. Mila opened her mouth slightly, but she did not expect that there is such a magical magic in the world, and even the magic circle did not appear, and people's hair and beauty turned into flames. In this case, after the flames disappear, will Ye Qiu's hair and eyebrows disappear? Thinking of Ye Qiu's appearance at that time, Mila felt amused for a while. No, I promise. Mr. Ye Qiu will definitely become the most eye-catching person walking in the town now, but no one will report your whereabouts to the Magic Council. No one wants to offend a mysterious sorcerer. Mira covered her mouth and smiled. It's good that no one bothers me. I don't know Miss Mila, so it's inconvenient to take me to Fairy Tale. I think if I go in alone, I might be surrounded by people. Ye Qiu shrugged. Speaking of which, taking Eli Goer directly away was considered a little trouble Ye Qiu brought to Fairy Tale. In the end, it's still embarrassing. Ye Qiu really can't guarantee that after he is recognized, the violent guys in the fairy tale will make a move if they disagree. Under the leadership of Mira, Ye Qiu, who was wearing a flame for no reason, smoothly bypassed various paths and came to the Fairy Tale Guild. Mila, who is this? Kana stared at Ye Qiu, who was full of fire with drunken eyes. Mila smiled. It's a familiar friend. He's a little afraid of everyone, so he came to me in this state. For flowers. Kana burped. I'm still not a man. How can a man be so timid? If you like us, Mila, just show your identity upright. Our fairy tale is not someone all beat up. In other words, you still like to beat people. Ye Qiu felt that his understanding was correct, but since the fairy had already arrived at the fairy tale, there was really no need to continue to disguise. In Fairy Tale's case, there are a little more wonderful members, but there is really no one who will report him to the Magic Council inexplicably. After all, these troubled children don't have such a good resume there. Meet again. Miss Kana's alcohol intake has gone up. Ye Qiu directly made the flames turn back into his black hair. Zero, it's you. Kana, who was a little drunk and confused, suddenly sharpened her eyes. A man who kidnapped the president of the Dark Magic Guild and was looked for by Urza and their strongest team actually appeared in the fairy tale again. Originally, everyone thought that this man would never appear again, but now it seems that they still underestimated Myra's charm. The ruddy face on Mila's side also disappeared in a flash, and she secretly glared at Ye Qiu a little embarrassed. That girl Kana said that if she wants to pursue herself, she will remove her disguise. You haven't seen President Makarov, so she really removed her disguise? Could it be that this inexplicable guy really has something else for him? What are you thinking? Ye Qiu is here. The scary guy who is omnipotent and capable in the mouth of the strongest team finally appeared again, and it was brought in by Miss Mira, a flower of their fairy tale. In the guild, this is something that makes people puzzled. Speaking of which, when Ye Qiu came last time, he brought it back to Urza. Although Mira used to be extremely violent, Urza is now a nightmare for many people in the guild, but how can they both be demons? The two most dazzling sisters in the tale. UB*********D. Did this guy come to our fairy tale specially to grab a girl's paper? Too much. The men of fairy tale, almost immediately, stood up at the same time and looked at Ye Qiu eagerly. Ye Qiu smiled wryly. He always felt that there was a misunderstanding in the development of things. Misunderstood? Anyway, in the eyes of the men of the fairy tale, this is definitely not a misunderstanding. A guy with ulterior motives like Ye Qiu is someone they have to cover. In particular, This kind of person still has an unclear relationship with the Dark Magic Guild, so it is even more necessary for them to protect the incomparably pure Miss Mira in the guild, as well as the fairy Queen Urza. I didn't expect you to be Ye Qiu. You are much younger than I thought. Just as the men of the Fairy Tale Guild were looking at Ye Qiu with some tension, a small and kind old man with a rosy face stood in front of Ye Qiu. Ye sees Elder Qiu and greets him respectfully. I am Ye Qiu. Hello, President Makarov. This 10th-level magician is not something that Ye Qiu can compare to, and is much stronger than the current Ye Qiu in terms of strength. And in terms of personality, President Makarov can be compared to All Might, and he is an existence that Ye Qiu respects. Ha ha. It seems that Urza and the others have misunderstood. A boy like you will never have anything to do with the Dark Magic Guild. Makarov smiled happily. Makarov has absolute confidence in the way he sees people. Ye Qiu's eyes are extremely clear, and he is definitely not the annoying guy in the Dark Guild. At least from what he saw in front of him, President Makarov felt that he liked Ye Qiu quite a bit. How about you? Do you want to join us in Fairy Tale? Makarov directly invited Ye Qiu. In the end, he is still a powerful young man. If there is no guidance from the Magic Guild, a powerful young man may also go astray. Ye Qiu replied truthfully, I think about it. I don't have such a strong idea right now, so I'm sorry, President Makarov. Think again. UB asterisk 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 D. When Urza invited you last time, you needed to think about it. Now that President Makarov has personally invited you, you still have to think about it. In the end, what is there to consider? Is we fairy tale in addition to Miss Mira? UB asterisk 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 D has no other existence. When the male members looked at Ye Qiu, they were in a state of incomparable anger, and they wished to swallow Ye Qiu alive. Interesting. Makarov was stunned for a moment, and then burst out laughing. I really didn't expect that at my age, I can meet such interesting young people. No problem, when you think about it, you must join Fairy Tale. But before that, I still have some questions I hope to know with you. A moment. Is it about Eligor? Ye Qiu said casually. Yes. In that case, it's easy to explain. In fact, I don't think he's very happy with a guy from the Dark Magic Guild like Eligor. But his strength is not bad, so I got him to teach and educate people. As compensation, what this guy has done before. Puff puff. The favorite thing for everyone in Fairy Tale is to get together to drink and chat after the mission is over. But when they heard Ye Qiu's arrangement for Eligor, the wine they had been drinking was sprayed out. Some of them were unlucky. Because of their companions, their faces were full of wine, and their faces were confused. Forced color. Makarov looked at Ye Qiu speechlessly. Boy, if you don't want to say anything, I won't force you for the time being, but the reason you're looking for really leaves you speechless. President Makarov, I think you really misunderstood. I really asked Eligor to teach and educate people. Ye Qiu spread out his hands, really helpless. Will he agree? That is the president of the Dark Guild, and the number of dark magicians under his hands is even more numerous. There was one more question left on Mikao's side. Yes, he won't agree. However, sometimes it's not a very simple thing to let others learn to be a good person on the surface. Ye Qiu twitched the corners of his mouth, revealing a smile that made his scalp tingle. If that guy doesn't want to, I'll hit him until he promises not to. Anyway, for him, my fist is an attack that he can't resist. What a violent person. Everyone was waiting to see how Ye Qiu answered, but they didn't expect the final answer to be like this. Thinking about the strength of this seemingly harmless guy who was recognized by everyone in the strongest team, they all felt that maybe this was the case. Makarov is a little speechless. This may be a good way, but the strength of Eligor is very strong. Can he really guarantee that he will not do bad things again? No, the place I took him to was only beaten by others, and few of him had beaten him. What is his nickname? The God of Death. I feel ashamed for him. Ye Qiu said casually. Sweat. Is it such an exaggeration? The guy from the Dark Magic Guild, Eligor, is a well-known werewolf even in the Light Magic Guild. Everyone still recognizes the name of the God of Death very much. At least among fairy tale, except for a few perverts like Natsu, if anyone else encounters Ye Qiu, it is absolutely impossible to beat him. A powerful person can't talk like that. If we can't beat you, we will despise you in our hearts. It's too much. Ye Qiu, I want to duel with you. Before everyone could take a good look at Ye Qiu, this arrogant guy, a clear voice came from outside the door. Came back. It's Erza, their fairy queen. No one made a sound just now, because no one could beat a guy like Ye Qiu who abused Ye Qiu casually. But they couldn't beat Ye Qiu, the guy who spoke inexplicably and was unwilling to agree to the invitation of the chairman to join Fairy Tale, but it didn't mean the Queen of Fairies, Erza, and they had nothing to do with this guy. Erza, you can be considered a friend anyway. Friends, isn't it too much? Ye Qiu looked helplessly at Erza, who was full of anger. I don't really want to start a relationship with Erza. This is a meaningless 3.8 matter. Besides dressing up magic, even if Ursha's moves have been tempered and trained in the ancient martial arts, it's not a problem. It's too subtle, breaking through Urza's defense, it won't be too difficult. In terms of being able to threaten Ye Qiu, Natsu and Griga together were a bit more pressure than Erza brought Ye Qiu. Friend? Maybe we were friends until you took Avery Goyle away, but for now, you're my villains. There was no hesitation in Erza's words. Well, since you want to fight with me so much, I have no reason to refuse. Well, if you lose, don't ask me to learn from me in the future. Personally, I prefer to practice alone. And fighting for me, it's a shot and die. Ye Qiu was single and held a vacant grip, and the flow of flames appeared directly in his hands. Dress-up magic? However, there is still no magic fluctuation. Mira Jane stared at the flowing blade in Ye Qiu's hands in confusion. The president of Fairy Tale, Makarov, also stared at Yi with a curious expression. He could sense that this should not be magic. Right? Unlike Mirajan, who was thinking about the magic circle, Makarov, a Saint 10 level powerhouse, was almost 100% certain that the abilities Ye Qiu displayed had nothing to do with the magic they learned. Kind of interesting. As the Holy 10, Makarov naturally knows more things than others and has a very comprehensive understanding of the world. After all, he has lived for so many years. Your knife is very good. Erza stared at Ruo Ren Ruohuo and said very seriously. From Ye Qiu's knife, she could actually feel a trace of terrifying power, and none of the weapons she held had such a terrifying aura. Ye Qiu smiled. Thank you, this is my exclusive weapon. He is a very dangerous guy with a lot of quirks, so I can let you appreciate it. Very dangerous. The power inside seems to be more terrifying than my Dragon Slayer magic. 12 Natsu, who came out of nowhere, had a rare expression of seriousness. From the perspective of the danger of flames, dragon-slaying magic is not an ordinary flame, even if Ye Qiu catalyzed the ability to burn fruit to the most terrifying state and met the prosperous Natsu. It could not be said that dragon-slaying magic could be suppressed. But it's a different story. As a Zanpakutō, Wan Ruohuo possessed not only flames, but also a terrifying huge Ryatsu hidden in it. The power of death and the power of flame are combined in everything, and this is the most terrifying flow of fire. And according to Ye Qiu's feeling, the fact that Ruo Ren Ruohuo can be so powerful is not only because of its fire attribute. Maybe the fire hidden in it is the exclusive flame of the soul realm, which is completely different from the flame in the human world. Natsu said so, and everyone in the fairy tale naturally paid more attention to the unremarkable knife, Lu Ren Ruohuo. Can you win? It's not that everyone doesn't believe in the fairy queen, but the flames that make Natsu fearful must be paid attention to strategically. Erza, don't be so serious. Even if your fight this time is good, I will personally witness it. Makarov hit haha. No matter where Ye Qiu came from, the mysterious power still made Makarov a little interested, and at the same time, he also had a little love for Ye Qiu. After all, at a young age and with such a powerful strength, Makarov felt from the bottom of his heart that Ye Qiu would definitely reach the 10th level in the future. Moreover, Makarov really believed that Ye Qiu, the god of death, was pulled by Ye Qiu to be educated and transformed. After all, if it wasn't for Ye Qiu, Larrabay's matter would not have been solved so easily, and Ye Qiu personally took care of Eli Goer. To really hook up with the Dark Magic Guild, Yida doesn't have to do those things in autumn. He can also join forces with Eli and Goyle to keep all the dead people in their so-called strongest squad in Fairy Tale. Ye Qiu did not do this. He has already proved what he said. Urza nodded reluctantly. For her, perhaps only by exerting all her strength can she force Ye Qiu to show some real strength. She can do everything, and she looks like she is very powerful, but she has a cynical attitude. This is what makes Urza the most uncomfortable. Also, is the purpose of coming to Fairy Tale just to meet Mira? This kind of damn the *********D reason makes it even more uncomfortable in the bottom of my heart. It was rare for such a lively event to happen in the guild. Originally, everyone thought that the person who would meet Urza would definitely be Natsu. I didn't expect that before Natsu, a stunned young man, could challenge Urza, that mysterious little devil was about to take action. Kind of interesting. In order not to attract the attention of the Magic Council, Makarov directly took everyone outside the town. Here, even if the movement is a little big, it will not cause too much trouble. The most important thing is that if the flowers and plants are damaged here, he, as the president, doesn't have to lose money. If both parties are ready, let's get started. That's what Makarov said. Ye Qiu said quickly, wait a moment, I remembered. I don't seem to be very good at swordsmanship. Can you wait for me for a while? Okay. Not good at knives. Here are a few meanings. Obviously, the knife in his hand exudes an extremely terrifying aura, but he says that he does not know how to use the knife. If this is the case, why take out the knife? The murderous aura on Urza suddenly became extremely intense. She obviously has so many powerful abilities, but she has to come up with a terrifyingly good knife, and she has to say before the duel that she doesn't know how to use the knife. Isn't this a naked look down on her? Don't get me wrong, this knife is a bit special. Because I have experienced a terrifying battle before, some abilities cannot be used temporarily, and my strength is still not enough to control it. Some basic slashes can't be said that I don't. Yes, but if it is used against you, I don't think I am qualified, so this is considered to be more emphasis on fighting with you. Ye Qiu explained in a straightforward way. Why is this 880 broken? To everyone in Fairy Tale, this sounds like an excuse that is completely unacceptable. What a broken knife. They don't believe in Ha's special ability anyway. Magic is more about looking at yourself. Urza's dressing magic is certainly a very powerful magic, but most of her attacks are also physical arts, and the equipment can only provide functions. Well, it can attack as well as defend. But after all, Urza was one set of equipment after another, and Ye Qiu had no intention of equipping other sets except for a simple-looking knife. So a solitary sword, which is considered powerful by both Urza and Natsu, is at most a famous sword, and it doesn't have any powerful special abilities, right? Everyone in Fairy Tale wanted to see what Ye Qiu was trying to do. Do you mean not to compete? Urza's eyes narrowed slightly. Ye Qiu shook his head. Of course it's impossible, I've already agreed. How could I refuse? But you'll wait for me for a quarter of an hour, I'll prepare. Just give up the knife and attack with your other powers. I know that your other powers are no weaker than your swordsmanship. Urza stared at Ye Qiu. 210 chapters to sell off now, wood-burning knife. Knives are out, and how could I then replace the other weapons? Give me 15 minutes, will not let you down. Ye Qiu said calm. 15 minutes it? Anyway, have been out. AI Lusha nature is not worried about 15 minutes of time will be wasted, is simply indifferent sitting on the ground, ready to adjust your own ups and downs of mood. What knife a better arrangement? Ye Qiu think a little bit, soul knife cut, it touches the sword and closer, but the essence is the knife, so he has to choose knife. Wood-burning knife, but one of the 72 Shaolin skills, excel at fast after splitting Hong 80 knife next to a dry wood. The wood does not harm the slightest edge. The heat emitted by the knife, but it can ignite firewood. It was this name. Ye Qiu directly using their own quirks, the wood-fired knife to create cheats out. Then a knife, a wood-burning knife is consistent with his current capacity, and if the fire edge and flow properties is also very fit. Therefore, it should be short, or wood-burning blade can grasp it. At the end of the demon among the crowd looked puzzled expression. Ye Qiu, very calm, the wood-fired fam knife in your hands constantly look, and sometimes also on hand along with a few gestures. Really buying and learning Everyone demon tail while silent, they can be sure. AI Lusha at this time if not in the eyes closed. Then, to see Ye Qiu Jafan action, attitude will certainly be an instant imbalance. It should be said, is a normal person, so the challenge was to see, certainly mental balance it. I cannot understand Obviously is a very powerful mage, why bother with such small means it is not to plunges a little. Even their hearts think so, or even want to speak directly to Tsao, but under Makarov's block, did not speak, but the time left entirely Ye Qiu. 15 minutes passed soon, AI Lusha is almost time his eyes wide open, poor murderous eyes lingers among children. Ye Qiu is also the time of the hands of a knife to wood fired on. Keep you waiting. You can now begin. I think it is time you look at your experience, beyond the mage, skills, physical attacks, close to the soldiers, in the end how important, yes. Ye Qiu schematic AI Lusha first attack. Ladies first, I do not need to launch magic. AI Lusha and Ye Qiu did not talk too much, oblique in his hands a grip side of the trunk, out of the hands of an instant multi-edged sword knight, at the foot of a force, moment is towards Ye Qiu's head split the past. Too slow AI Lusha attack speed, in practice the Aeolus leg Ye Qiu view, it is a bit too slow, but he said this thing abnormal use knife to determine the outcome of the battle, is naturally not choose to avoid. First hand and thought of it. AI Lusha anyway facelift will not completely cast out the power of magic, just give him a chance to a burning knife familiar. Can. Ye Qiu free to hit the very edge of the stream, if the fire is the AI Lusha attack to stop down. Urza's second attack was already ready to attack, but what people didn't expect was that Ye Qiu's attack was even faster than her. 9981 knife wood burning knife technique. One knife is faster than one knife. One knife is by one knife. Is that guy throwing a knife indiscriminately? How can someone attack with a knife at such a fast speed? Mikao rubbed his drunken eyes. The other members of the fairy tale did not understand the so-called swordsmanship very well. In their inherent concept, close combat is all about speed and reaction. You guys, show me carefully. Didn't you find out? Urza has already fallen into the disadvantage. No matter which angle she draws her sword from, Ye Qiu's sword seems to be a preemptive one. If it is judged, it will appear at the position where Urza's sword is going to attack. If Ye Qiu attacks, Urza's sword will never stop Ye Qiu's attack. The sword in Ye Qiu's hand is already in there are many marks left on Urza's armor. Nakarov said in a serious tone. Originally, he was still thinking about whether Ye Qiu was attacking the fairy tale people indiscriminately, and this was the only way to focus his attention on the battle between the two. Indeed it is. If you look carefully, all of Urza's attacks can't be blocked by Ye Qiu, and Ye Qiu's attack has left some faint knife marks on Urza's armor. If this was a life-and-death struggle, wouldn't it mean that the fairy queen Urza they were proud of had already been killed by Qiu's sword? Urza, don't let the water go. Think about how you abuse Natsu and Gray at ordinary times. Don't let people see our fairy tale. Come on, Urza. You are our fairy queen. Although they were cheering for Urza, it was obvious that Natsu and Gray, who were the audience, were not in such a good mood. Why did they lay guns inexplicably? Damn it. After the battle between Ye Qiu and Urza is over, I must also challenge Urza. Unlike Gray, I will definitely win. The desire to fight in Natsu's heart has already begun to soar continuously. Wanna fight? Whether it was Urza or Ye Qiu, they seemed to be stronger than him, and he really wanted to have a good fight with them. Use all your dressing magic. There is absolutely no way you can threaten me in this state. In addition to attacking, Ye Qiu was still in the mood to chat and laugh. It should be said that when Urza was fighting, her expression was extremely serious, as if she was facing the most difficult villains in her life, while Ye Qiu, the one with money, was simply walking around in the courtyard. No way, this is his best fighting style. It's suppressed. Both in terms of speed and moves, they were ruthlessly suppressed by Ye Qiu. Moreover, this guy Ye Qiu didn't show his full strength at all, it's just so annoying. Heavenly Will armor. The Heavenly Will armor is an armor that can control multiple swords and is mainly used for long-distance attacks. This is one of Elsa's usual armors. The armor is made of steel, with 4 wings made of steel on the back. The weapons produced when changing clothes are usually 2 swords, and more swords can also be summoned. 200 swords were summoned at the same time, but the wear and tear was extremely high. The magic power of the sword and the position where the sword appears will form an amazing picture like a sea of swords behind Elsa. Since melee combat is not an opponent of this guy at all, then try to suppress it from a distance first. Although Urza does not want to use this method, she is not Ye Qiu's opponent in pure melee combat. When Ye Qiu said that she can only use swordsmanship, Irusa feels that pure swordsmanship is impossible. Avoid the attack coverage of the Heavenly Will armor. That's 200 swords. With such a belief, Urza directly changed into the Heavenly Will armor. However, because of the fact that he was face-to-face with Urza, and because some martial arts practitioners had too good eyesight, Ye Qiu felt as if he had seen something he shouldn't have seen. Cough cough. Dress-up magic is good, and strong light will be used as a cover when changing clothes, but after all, it's changing clothes, and the little clothes inside can still be seen with his eyes. Speechless. Ye Qiu, who felt that his willpower had been slightly affected, was a little late in his response to the 200 sharp blades that were overwhelming the sky at that moment. When he saw Ye Qiu looking at Urza with some consternation, Makarov felt that something might happen, and he was ready to take action. Only, need a shot? Alas, not to mention Ye Qiu's elementalization ability. He simply used the Flow 880 blade to defend, and he didn't have any problems. Elsa is not a sword immortal either. Her ability to control those sharp blades is very weak, and it can even be said that after the attack, she has no control. For this kind of hidden weapon with obvious lack of control, the Zanpakutō in Ye Qiu's hand wielded recklessly and unrestrainedly, and all the sharp blades that were aimed at him were blocked from his body, and everyone watching the fairy tale was dumbfounded. Is this a human response? In exchange for any of them, looking at the terrifying sharp blade in the sky, the first thing that can be thought of is how to defend well, reduce the damage of some of these sharp blades, or use magic to remove these sharp blades. The sharp blades flying like hidden weapons were completely wiped out. But thinking of Ye Qiu, just relying on a knife that was neither too long nor too short, he easily blocked all attacks like his long sword. So horrible. He didn't have the power to cast magic at all, and he didn't show his terrifying physical qualities. Could it be said that Ye Qiu's magic is to have a pair of terrifying eyes or his dexterous hands, which can block all attacks in an instant? Urza, who was wearing the Heavenly Will armor, originally felt that her magic power was madly disappearing and thought that this attack would be effective. Even if Ye Qiu was forced to use other methods, it would give her more confidence. Fight on. It's quite a powerful attack. After the attack stopped, Ye Qiu commented indifferently, looking at the sharp blades in a circle around him. You're kind of awesome. Mira looked at Ye Qiu with a curious look in her eyes. She had never imagined that someone else could block Urza's attack so easily. As a former competitor, although everyone is now a companion, the inherent black belly in Myra's character still makes her very happy to see Urza being defeated. Urza gritted her teeth and was about to change into a purgatory armor. In that state, she couldn't control her power perfectly. I'm going to attack. Be careful. In the midst of a sudden change of mind, Urza made a decision in an instant. She wanted to see how strong Ye Qiu's attack was without using magic. Change to the King Kong armor. This armor is the strongest in Elsa's armor. The defense is so strong that it can even block the attack of the Ghost Magic Cluster Gun, Jupiter. Appearance is a white and dark blue armor with white shields in both hands. The characteristic is that the whole body is covered with armor to defend against attacks from all directions. Wood-burning knife. Ye Qiu's eyes were full of determination. The wood-burning swordsmanship is not just a simple swordsmanship. When he attacked Urza just now, he did not give full play to his true strength. 9981 knives of wood-burning swordsmanship are used continuously, and even those who watch it are somewhat suppressed and breathless. So horrible. It's so scary. That kind of speed, that kind of ubiquitous attack without dead ends, even if the ship was equipped with the Vajra armor, they felt a headache for Urza. Only, he looked imposing and his moves were always able to hit dead ends, but everyone felt that Ye Qiu seemed to be doing useless work. Such an attack may be the deadliest attack for others, but for Urza, who is wearing the Vajra armor, it is not a problem at all. So, is Ye Qiu's attack just to make them feel terrified? It's kind of unacceptable. Everyone wanted to see the real battle, not Ye Qiu's seemingly gorgeous, but not offensive fighting style. Although it was absolutely impossible for them to stop Ye Qiu's offensive if they played in person, they still wanted to see Ye Qiu completely defeating Urza. It's boring. It shocked everyone before, but now it's unbelievable with such a picture. Ye Qiu seemed to sense the gazes around him and showed a faint smile. Close the knife. After 9981 knives ended, he stopped attacking. There is no need. The outcome has already been decided, and if he attacks again, Urza's body will probably be fatally injured. Even though she was wearing the Vajra armor, Urza still spit out a mouthful of blood under the attack of the wood-burning sword technique. Obviously, all the attacks were blocked by the diamond armor. Why could she still feel an incomparable scorching power? Through the defense of the diamond armor, she directly felt a huge pressure in her inner liner, and instantly suffered enormous damage. After removing the armor of the King Kong, Urza directly changed into the most common armor and used the rapier on the ground with one hand. What the hell is going on here? The blue harpy flying in the air tilted his head in confusion at this time. Natsu scratched his head. I don't know. But in Ye Qiu's swordsmanship, I felt a flame of fire. But it always felt very strange. It was definitely not an open flame. It was as if he was swinging a sword. At the same time, all attacks will have the same flame attribute, and it is the invisible flame attribute. What? Is there such a thing in the world? Although it is a bit unbelievable, everyone in Fairy Tail still believes in Natsu's talent on flames. In fact, no one should be more sensitive to fire than Natsu. Insidious guy, is it too much to say that you don't need abilities other than swordsmanship? I only use the sword technique. Who said that the attack of the move will not come with attributes? Ye Qiu showed a playful smile. Whether it is internal strength or the artistic conception of the moves, for everyone in Fairy Tail, it is too profound. Can moves really come with attributes? Impossible. There is not even a fluctuation of magic. How could such a thing happen? It is too exaggerated. The Fairy Tail members, except for Urza and a few others, did not believe what Ye Qiu said at all. They only thought that he used magic at will when everyone could not see it, and wanted to find an excuse. Said he didn't use magic. Kind of shameless. Even if it is, it doesn't make people feel that he is powerful at all. AI Lu, on the other hand, is very responsible for Shaw's eyes. After thinking for a while, she said unwillingly, "You won this time, but I will win it back. Wanna learn?" What? Urza looked at Ye Qiu in astonishment. Ye Qiu said lightly, "I said before, I can teach you something. If you want to learn, I can teach you. To be honest, your fighting talent and fighting talent are simply amazing. If you cooperate with my cultivation method, I don't think the Holy 10 is your limit." Isn't the Holy 10 the limit? It's a bit too much to say this casually. Even if everyone in Fairy Tail thinks that Elsa, the Fairy Queen, is indeed the most potential and powerful existence in the guild, it is still a bit too much to say that she can surpass the Holy 10. The Holy 10 is the world's top 10 mages, and the gap between them and the S-rank mages is still a bit big. Urza didn't hesitate. But the matter of Eli Gore, it won't be the end of it. You have to give me an explanation. Because of your decision, the Magic Council is very dissatisfied with our fairy tale. Is that so? If they are really dissatisfied, they can come to me directly. Anyway, I am not a sorcerer, and the Magic Council has no right to interfere in my life. Ye Qiu didn't care at all. Makarov felt that Ye Qiu, a little kid, was basically good, and it would be great if he could join Fairy Tail. Ye Qiu, I suggest you, don't have a conflict with the Magic Council. I can adjust the matter of Eli Gore, but you don't have to worry too much. After all, I have also been in the position of Holy 10 for a long time. Now, our Fairy Tail is not a small guild, so there is still some energy. Makarov said confidently. I want Ye Qiu to join and then polish this group of boys well. Since he had such an idea, Makarov naturally wanted Ye Qiu to see clearly the strength of their fairy tale. Ye Qiu was stunned, then nodded politely. If that's the case, then thank President Makarov. As a reward, I will make Urza stronger in a short period of time. Ye Qiu, what about me? Can I learn your magic? Hubby, who was flying in the air, was very excited to fly around Ye Qiu. Glancing at Hubby, Ye Qiu said speechlessly, "You can't learn a cat that can fly. The way you use your strength in battle is very different from that of a human being. Cats don't have a chance to learn. Doesn't it mean that we have a chance to learn? If ordinary moves can bring attribute effects to the attack, there is no one in fairy tale who doesn't want to learn this ability." Okay, I've finished watching the battle. Go back and give me a good summary. Let's see each of you. Which one is qualified for close combat ability? Who told you that mages don't need close combat ability? Magic is important, but when your magic power is exhausted, if you still have a lot of villains, why don't you just wait to die? Makarov, who had been talking to him a second ago, suddenly became stern. Alas, go back to drink, go back to drink. Even the president felt that Ye Qiu really used his moves to create the effect of magic, so what else could they say? Forget it. If I remember correctly, does Mr. Ye Qiu seem to be my fan? But as my fan, I will be sad to take care of Urza so much. As soon as everyone left, Mila walked up to Ye Qiu and whispered in his ear. Ask for flowers. Ye Qiu was a little embarrassed. Miss Mila wants to learn my fighting style, and I will teach it all. It's just... I also have a small request. I hope Miss Mila can agree to my request at that time. It seems that Mr. Ye Qiu is not my fan. Just using my name to approach our fairy tale really disappoints me. Fairy. Mila, with a delicate mind, instantly saw through Ye Qiu's mind. From the two encounters, she could clearly find that Ye Qiu, the B*****************, looked at her even more indifferently than the men in the guild. Humph. She is Mila. In all the magic guilds, the most popular girl, Ye Qiu's gaze. What does it mean? It is not a wise thing to offend a beautiful woman. Mila decided that during Ye Qiu's stay in Fairy Tale, she must search out all the secrets of this guy. Anyway, judging from Ye Qiu's attitude, he should be asking for her. That's easy to handle. Mira still couldn't believe that with her own charm, she couldn't get those secrets out of Ye Qiu's mouth. Mila, who had spoken harshly, left, leaving the space for Ye Qiu and Urza. Why me? Elsa asked. Ye Qiu didn't answer directly. Sit down first. The injury in your body doesn't seem to be serious. But if I shoot, it will be aimed at the internal organs, so the gunpowder will still affect your body. If left untreated, there will be sequelae. Elsa was stunned for a moment. She felt a little heat in her body, and her face was burning with a trace of unhealthy red. However, compared to the serious injuries she suffered during her previous mission or training, Urza felt that this injury was not too serious. Is Ye Qiu exaggerating? After all, this injury was caused by Ye Qiu, and Urza still chose to trust Ye Qiu. Except for Ye Qiu's bias in the matter of Eli Goer, Elsa felt that she could trust this guy. After all, the president chose to trust him. Small. Well, is your armor easy to deal with? Wearing armor, I can't help you heal. Ye Qiu put his hand on Urza's armor, which was an awkward opening. I thought that my 9-young divine art could easily penetrate the armor, and without any embarrassment, I could successfully treat Urza's injury. What I didn't expect was that the material of the magic armor Urza was wearing was really good, and because it was a magic material, it directly blocked all his internal strength. Do you need it? Urza looked at Ye Qiu vigilantly. Need? Ye Qiu responded seriously. Anyway, it's not that I haven't seen it, or it's black. Ye Qiu, who was muttering in a low voice, felt 10 times, 100 times the murderous aura he had in the battle just now, and instantly closed his mouth. Erhas took the 880 test, and directly used the dress-up magic. Dress up, pure heart clothes. After changing her outfit, Elsa's hair was tied into a ponytail by a small green tube. The outer appearance of the clothes is bloomers with a red base, a yellow flame pattern, and a little white flower, while the upper part of the body is covered with a bandage, and he walks barefoot. this? Ye Qiu was a little speechless. In fact, he would just change into a normal set of clothes. The clothes of pure heart are a bit too cool. Even a person like him who has practiced the orthodox internal training method can't resist this coolness. After all, he is not a Buddhist disciple. I started. If you have any strange feelings, please bear with me. Ye Qiu straightened his mind and directly put his hands on Urza's back. Without the barrier of the armor, Urza's smooth skin touched Ye Qiu's mind instantly, and he almost lost his mind. Fortunately, there were many beautiful beauties around Ye Qiu, and this mood was quickly adjusted, and he began to heal Urza well. Jiuyang Tru Qi entered Urza's body instantly through Ye Qiu's palm. That warm feeling almost didn't make Urza make a red face sound. What does it feel like? In the past, Irusa felt that soaking in hot springs should be the most comfortable thing after her practice, but now I don't know how much more comfortable it is than soaking in hot springs. The power emanating from Ye Qiu's big hands was even more comfortable than healing magic. Urza bit her lip, resisting the incomparably comfortable power in her heart. Ye Qiu this be ********* D. To resist this power, AI Lu also came up with one, and that is to curse the be ********* D Ye Qiu in her heart. Everyone knows that there will be such a dark wound left in their body. Why use such an attack? It is clearly intentional. On Ye Qiu's side, he didn't know that Urza would have so many thoughts in her heart. Instead, when she was treating the fire left in Urza's body with the wood-burning knife technique, she found that the damage in Urza's body was extremely terrifying, and even to the point where he was horrified. What kind of cruel training did this go through to leave so many dark wounds in the body of a young girl in bloom? Admire. Ye Qiu has to admire that Urza is a character who treats herself more than anyone else. It seems that Urza is very healthy now, but if she continues to adhere to the current way of cultivation, Ye Qiu can be very sure that Urza's future will definitely be better than that of Natsu's group of companions who mainly focus on magic attacks. Much miserable. When the manpower is exhausted, one day time will slave the weak. So Ye Qiu is constantly cultivating and becoming stronger, but he also remembers that he should use the method of inner cultivation to nourish his body and state. Without the support of Jiuyang Jinqi, Ye Qiu felt that with his crazy fighting state, his future would not be much better than All Might. After spending nearly 90% of his true energy, Ye Qiu managed to heal about 1/3 of the dark wounds in Urza's body. 90%. With his current strength, 90% of his infuriating energy has been consumed terribly. I'm sorry, the injury in your body is more serious than I thought. It wasn't caused by me, but your cultivation over the years has really drained your life potential. Ye Qiu wiped the sweat from his forehead and said. Elsa, like Ye Qiu, looked like she was sweating profusely at this time, but her little face, which had never had any expression, was now exuding a touch of red, which looked like a very attractive red. Apple, people have an urge to take a bite. Is that right? It took a long time for Urza to recover from that delicate state. Of course, in order to avoid just spraying, Urza also used her dress-up magic as soon as possible, wrapping herself in cold, hard armor again. Yes, unless my strength is further improved, or you are willing to accept the recuperation arranged by me. Otherwise, your current body will last for at most 20 or 30 years. Ye Qiu said very seriously. 20 or 30 years. Enough. Just keep getting stronger and do all the things hidden in your heart. There is nothing to regret. As for whether the body will break down, whether the life potential will be exhausted for Urza, this is not important at all. I see. Thank you for your reminder, but if it takes a lot of time and delays my cultivation, then forget it. Urza said without any hesitation. Is it delaying your cultivation? You can really rest assured on this point. With your cultivation method, even if you practice for 10 years, it will not be as good as following me for a year. Ye Qiu's tone was extremely proud. Don't believe it? Look it up. It doesn't need too much explanation. Ye Qiu used the Vulcan style to cast the 18 dragon subduing palms, which may not be too big a shock to Urza. The giant dragon in the east, perhaps in terms of momentum, is far more oppressive than the giant dragon in the legend of the Fiori Kingdom, But Natsu is also capable of destroying dragon magic after all, and it is not enough to make AI. Lusa was too surprised. Fire 3.8 Divine Form, Fa Xiangxiandi. Ye Qiu directly spent a lot of energy to activate the ability to burn the fruit to the maximum state, and the terrifying flame Dharma image stood directly in the mountains and forests. Flame Ye Qiu. Natsu, who had just returned to the town, was keenly aware of the terrifying flame power and turned his head in an instant, but saw a flame giant that was fighting incomparably high, and the appearance of the giant was the same as Yi. After the other people in the fairy tale reacted, they also turned their heads and saw the terrifying flame giant. "President, are you all right?" Elfman asked worriedly. However, Makarov waved his hand indifferently. "Don't worry, there is no attack from Ye Qiu. It should be showing something." He didn't say it all himself, Although it was a little hard to accept, that terrifying flame giant really made Ye Qiu's impression in everyone's minds much higher. It turned out that Ye Qiu, who used magic without using swordsmanship, would be such a terrifying guy. To support a terrifying flame giant transformation, and it is a terrifying giant that can be seen from a kilometer away, the magic power consumed is simply unimaginable for them. Not one level. Alas, this kid Surian didn't join the guild, but in the future, there will be another character who needs to take a detour. Now the little devil, it is really more worrying than the other. As a flame giant, Urza felt the most intuitively, and the huge wave that turned up in her heart at this time can only be described as horror. In terms of fire magic attainments, Ye Qiu should be stronger than Natsu. To say that he was an S-rank mage would probably underestimate Ye Qiu. At least Urza, an S-rank mage, didn't feel that her magic power was comparable to Ye Qiu's. If I say that I have only practiced for about a year, I have the current strength, do you believe it? Ye Qiu waved his hand, and the Vulcan style disappeared into the air. Except for the incomparably hot temperature, there was still a slight remnant, and there was no other trace. A year? After Urza escaped from the shadowy place of her childhood, she has been cultivating for many years. And after so many years of almost brutal training, her strength is actually not as good as Ye Qiu, who has just been practicing for about a year. Does this sentence deny her years of hard work? Feeling that Urza was looking at him with a strange look, Ye Qiu still had a calm expression. Follow me to practice for a while and you'll know. At least for now, whether you are a move or a physical aspect, in my eyes, you are not qualified. Can I start practicing now? After Urza wanted to understand, she was a little impatient. If you don't pass, you don't pass. There is always a chance to become stronger. That's enough. Let's follow Ye Qiu's method and try it out. Anyway, she won't suffer. The power that Ye Qiu's big hands brought to her had already made Urza feel in a better state than ever before. Then tell me where you live, because your treatment and cultivation need to cooperate with medicinal baths. It is easier to understand. I will prepare some medicines, and you use those medicines to bathe, and your body will have strength. The improvement will have huge benefits. Does taking a bath boost your strength? Elsa prefers to take a good dip in the hot spring to recover from fatigue after cultivating, which can relieve physical and psychological fatigue, but she does not believe that a dip can improve her strength. This is my address, I'll wait for you. Elsa quickly took out a note and wrote the address to Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu touched his nose, always feeling a little weird. Why does he seem like a wretched uncle? Forget it, let's go get the medicinal bath package first. Urza's potential is extremely strong, and she must develop heroes into the firm. Anyway, in the future, the business scope of the firm will be aimed at all other worlds, and there will be no harm in recruiting more members from other worlds. Reopening any door beside him, Ye Qiu returned directly to Woing World, went to Kento Dojo, and directly took a 1-month share of the medicinal bath package. Ye Qiu, you are the largest shareholder of our Kento medicinal bath package and the son-in-law of our Kento family, so you still have to be careful. Kento Tiger Bear has not seen Ye Qiu for a long time, with a look of emotion on his face. Huh? Uncle Huneng, is there any misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? Since you've been on TV, especially after putting up with those reporters, everything on the internet has been your latest news. Don't think I don't know. You shameless guy is still with MT Lady, and me, the 18 forbidden teachers, who are the most goddess in my heart, have an unclear relationship. When Kento Tiger Bear mentioned these topics, his eyes instantly became hazy with tears. Damn it. Really envious and jealous. Ever since he knew that Ye Qiu, an honest-looking kid, had completely betrayed the organization, the new hair that had just grown on the top of Uncle Kento Tiger Bear's head had fallen out again. Now those classic teachers' works have already hurt Ken Fujitora's heart and can no longer be comforted. When I finally saw Ye Qiu, I naturally had to endure it. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes, but he didn't expect Ken Fujitora to say such a boring thing. Uncle Huxiong, if you have time, go out for a walk. Now you are one of the handsome men. You have to have confidence in yourself. There is no way to find a girlfriend when you watch those CDs in the dojo. I think so too. But you can find me some management personnel. I'm so busy every day now. It's necessary to distinguish whether heroes is ordering or those who have a plan. Do you know? You know, in the past few months, I've been attacked by dozens of forces, big and small. I really never thought that selling something would be such a dangerous job. It's more than tears. Kento 880 Tiger Bear has indeed become much stronger when he uses the medicated bath package for free every day, but he is also suffering from tireless harassment. Ye Qiu was silent for a moment. This is indeed a matter. Well, I understand. So, Uncle Tiger Bear, you go to the Fubuki office and say that I said it. Let them be responsible for the Kento for you. Dojos take turns to guard. Anyway, there should be many opportunities to fight. With the temperament of those girls, they will gladly agree to this kind of work. He hadn't taught him anything yet, and he had already defeated them with several Nomu joining forces. The rest of the members, except Hell Fubuki, all had the abilities he taught. Time, it will be more flexible. The hero's office has all of them. It's really enviable. Kento Tiger Bear had another expression of admiration, jealousy, and hatred. Thinking about it back then, no, it should be said that around a year ago, Ye Qiu was still cultivating with him in the dojo. In such a short period of time, there was such a huge gap in life between the two of them. Heartache. Kento Tiger Bear decided to immediately go to Fubuki office to find his niece, and he no longer wanted to manage it. With so much money, as a qualified handsome man, he will definitely find a girlfriend. Well, it will definitely not fail. Ye Qiu thought about it with the note in his hand, and finally set the location directly on the address written on the note. Only, when Ye Qiu passed through any door, he instantly felt that he was surrounded by a strong water vapor, and the surrounding was also a hot and humid environment. Wait, wouldn't it be here? In Ye Qiu's heart, he instantly had a bad premonition. Any door of the pit can reach the known world and any known location, but even if you walk out of any door, you will never know what kind of situation is waiting for you behind the door. So, wow! An abrupt sound of water coming out directly interrupted Ye Qiu's thinking. Eyesight is somewhat good, that is, what should be seen and what should not be seen. It seems that all at once can be seen. Originally, the atmosphere was in Ye Qiu's heart, and it should have been a bit of a chair. However, when he took a closer look now and saw the crisscrossing scars on Urza's body, he still felt a touch of distress. Have you seen enough? Urza's calmness obviously exceeded Ye Qiu's imagination. I said it was a misunderstanding, would you believe it? Ye Qiu said helplessly. When he spoke, Urza, who was in the mist, blushed and quickly wrapped her body tightly with a bath towel. Don't turn around yet? Elsa snorted. Ye Qiu took out a jar of the packaged medicinal bath package, walked directly to the bathtub with clear water, poured all the medicinal bath package into it, and used his Jiuyang infuriating energy to drain the bathtub. The water in it is reheated so that the medicated bath package can be integrated into the water flow faster. After the water is at room temperature, you can soak for a while longer. This medicinal bath is good for your body. Besides, if there is anything wrong, please call me and I will wait outside. After all this was done, Ye Qiu left Ursha's bathroom on his own. Thinking about it, it's really not the time. After the battle just now, plus her own treatment, Urza, who was sweating, must have come back to freshen up first. I didn't expect this guy from the arbitrary door to actually let himself come to AI in the bathroom of Luce's house. When will this kind of benefit be added to any door? No, it's a wretched choice. Not his pot. All are pots of any door. Yes, this accident is all the responsibility of the arbitrary door and has nothing to do with him, Ye Qiu. About an hour later, Urza hesitantly walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel. There was still fog just now, so she wouldn't be so shy, but now that there is no fog, and there is no way to free up her hands to cast a dressing-up magic, she is really not used to facing Ye Qiu wrapped in a bath towel. Especially Ye Qiu's eyes. She didn't know how to avoid taboos at all, but they didn't lack the wretched eyes of those uncles, which really made her very embarrassed. How is it? The effect of my medicinal bath is very good, right? Ye Qiu asked in a good mood. Not bad. I feel my body is relaxed like never before, and I have never felt that my body is in such a better state. Elsa clenched her fists. She felt that if she cultivated in this state, she would be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. It's in great condition. Such a medicinal bath package, as long as you need it, I can supply it every day. But I do have a little request, that is, you can join our office to do things when you have more free time in the future. Sure enough, you still have a plan. Urza wiped her wet hair. What is an office? It is an existence similar to the Magic Guild, and its main business is to help others to do tasks for a fee. Of course, the tasks we do are normal tasks, but we will encounter some challenges from evil forces that are not weak. Ye Qiu stopped the language and explained. If it is not an organization that does evil, then there is no problem. I don't have any problems, but all things must be done after I have done what I want to do. Urza's movements suddenly stopped. The Tower of Paradise? Counting the time, it shouldn't be too far away. I don't have any problems. Time is the most important thing for me. So, are you ready to practice? By the way, when you practice, don't wear your heavy armor, it's not suitable for practice. Ye Qiu reminded. Okay, I'll change clothes and wait for me for a while. Urza said cheerfully. After all, she learned about dressing up magic, and Urza changed her clothes very quickly. She didn't make Ye Qiu wait any longer, so she changed into a sleeveless tight top. Sit cross-legged and learn my posture. Next, I'm going to teach you a cultivation method, which is called inner strength cultivation. The so-called inner strength cultivation is to strengthen the life energy of human beings by cultivating their inner breath. Your previous cultivation methods other than magic can be said to be using your own life potential to strengthen your external physical explosive power. Therefore, it caused huge damage to the body. Ye Qiu first made a standard posture of 5 hearts facing the sky. Urza felt that this posture was a bit strange, but she still followed Ye Qiu's request and honestly began to focus on the sky. If that's the case, isn't magic our inner strength? Is there any difference between inner strength cultivation and magic ascension? Urza asked curiously. Yes. Let me give you an example. The life expectancy of an ordinary person is about 60 to 80 years old. Those who live longer can live to be 100 years old. But thinking of you, the life expectancy is not as good as that of ordinary people. It's because you have too many internal injuries. It's just that if a person who cultivates internal skills also possesses incomparably powerful combat power, his lifespan will be at least 100 years old. Taking the lifespan as an example, in Ye Qiu's opinion, it is the best way to explain the difference between internal power practitioners and physical practitioners. As for combat power, you must have seen that the internal power cultivated from the internal power lock screen has extremely powerful penetrating power. Even if you are wearing armor, my internal power can still hurt your internal organs. Sure enough, Urza's interest softened after hearing that the incomparably scorching injury she felt inside was caused by her internal strength. If she also has internal strength when attacking, with the internal strength that Ye Qiu said, the combat power will definitely increase by more than 1 grade. I want to practice inner strength. Urza's eyes became extremely bright, looking at Ye Qiu with anticipation. Originally, according to Ye Qiu's idea, Urza was directly asked to practice Tianshuang Fist and Foshan Legs. In this way, her combat power could be greatly improved in a short period of time. But what Ye Qiu thought was that, after the power of the Tianshuang Fist was spinning in Urza's body, she was strongly rejected by her body. Completely unsuited to the power of Tianshuang Fist, because of Senhin's incomparable energy, Elsa's meridians were almost injured. For Fengshen legs, the situation is not bad. The wind god legs with neutral aerodynamics are suitable for Urza to practice, but the simple movement technique cannot satisfy Ursha's desire to become stronger. Ye Qiu didn't intend to teach the body exercises, but Elsa's body was completely inadequate to withstand the polishing of the King Kong indestructible technique, as well as the dragon elephant Borua Gong. Let's do Jiuyang divine art. Generally speaking, Jiuyang Shengong is not very suitable for women to practice. Ye Qiu found out that Urza seemed to be burnt by her own wood-burning knife technique, but she was more receptive to fire. If this is the case, then slow down. The Nine-Yang divine art has reached the Desheng realm, and it is also a peerless divine art level of 880. In addition to Fengshen legs, the main internal practice I want to teach you is called Jiuyang Shengong. This practice has a total of 9 levels, and even I have only cultivated to the 6th level now. Just cultivating to the 6th realm, is there such a strong strength? If you cultivate to the 9th level, wouldn't you have the strength of the 10th level? Elsa has already started to think about whether she will be able to successfully cultivate to the 9th level within a year. No way, who asked Ye Qiu to say it before, he also practiced for a year. The key is that in this year, his Nine-Yang divine art has already broken through to the 6th level. How could Urza not understand the 9-level consummation of the 9-sun divine art? The sense of qi is mysterious and mysterious. Without Ye Qiu's help, Urza would not be able to feel a completely different cultivation method from the fairy tale world for a month or even a year. Magic. When the first ray of internal force appeared in the body, and then let the internal force as thick as a hair run along the bloodline that Ye Qiu said, Urza felt a very comfortable signal coming from her body. Cultivating inner strength really can make the body feel incomparably relaxed, and even those hidden problems gradually improve under the operation of inner strength. Why didn't I reach the first weight? As soon as Urza cultivated, it took a whole afternoon. When she opened her eyes again, she looked at Ye Qiu in disappointment. Ye Qiu took advantage of Urza's cultivation time to prepare a whole table of meals. Do you think that you can easily complete the first major consummation by practicing Jiuyang divine art in one day? Didn't I tell you that others can only achieve the state of Jiuyang great consummation after cultivating for 100 years? I think your qualifications are pretty good. It is estimated that within a month or two, you will be able to cultivate to the realm of the first great consummation. It takes a month. Urza was a little disappointed, and in her opinion, this time was still a bit long. Ye Qiu seemed to push the rice in front of Ursha. What are you thinking? Even if you practice the 9 suns magical art, your strength will become stronger. Whether it's the ability to keep fighting, the speed of your shots, or even the ability to fight, eyesight will improve a lot. If you feel that the introduction of internal skills is useless, practice for a few days and then compare with Natsu and the others. You will know the benefits that internal skills bring to you. In fact, internal strength might also increase the speed of mana recovery, but for Ye Qiu, after all, this kind of thing has not been studied, so he is not good at making judgments. In view of Ursha's frequent tasks, destroying the ecological environment around the mission, Ursha has a large part of the quest rewards, which were directly detained by President Makarov, so the Ursha family is not too big. In order to facilitate Urza's cultivation, Ye Qiu could only live in the living room of Ursha's house because of grievance. The sleep time was replaced by Ye Qiu meditating. Urza originally wanted to try the method, but in the end, after insisting on it for 2 hours, due to her lack of internal strength, Ursha was directly caught in the disturbance of sleepiness and was carried back to the bed by Ye Qiu. Early the next morning, when Urza woke up, another table of breakfast was waiting for her. However, due to the cultivation of inner strength, when the morning sun was rising, it was the best time to cultivate, so Ye Qiu woke Urza up early. Urza, who has been practicing self-cultivation all the year round, does not have the habit of staying in bed. Facing the rising sun of Dongxing's cultivation, it is true that the growth rate of internal power is much faster. The medicinal power accumulated in the body of the medicinal bath package is also slowly accelerating the speed of internal power. After eating breakfast, Urza put on the fast ad again and walked towards the guild with Ye Qiu. Because of yesterday's battle, everyone was very curious about Ye Qiu. When seeing Ye Qiu and Urza appear together, the middle-aged uncles in the guild all showed expressions of grief. Although the Goblin Queen doesn't abuse their uncles, but watching the Goblin Queen get taken down by that stinky brat who doesn't know where she came from, it really makes people feel sad in their hearts. Huh? Urza, your skin has become so good. What exactly did you use? Can you share it with me? Reverie, who likes to learn, is very keen to discover the changes in Urza. Having said that, the eyes of all the girls in the guild were fixed on Urza. What? Before Urza could answer, Levy screamed in a low voice and ran away with a blushing face. Revi, who had so much knowledge, saw Ye Qiu and Urza together and instantly thought of a possibility that made her blushing. Urza's skin suddenly became so good, the main credit should be Ye Qiu. What happened to her? Elsa looked puzzled. Urza and me duel. I can't wait to defeat you. At this time, Natsu jumped out in a very unpleasant manner. Are you sure you want a duel? Urza took a deep breath. Ye Qiu said that after 10 days of training, to test her own strength and so on, for Urza, it is a little too long, and now she feels that she has become a lot stronger. Don't be so impulsive, now your body is not suitable for fighting. Ye Qiu said helplessly. Just started to recuperate, and even the inner strength is only a beginner, and I think about using inner strength to bully others. This idea is still a bit excessive. On the contrary, other people in Fairy Tale, after hearing Ye Qiu's words, were more certain of Lei Bai's previous state. It must be so. This abominable stinky brat, in the future, someone must be able to press this brat to the ground and rub it fiercely, so that the depression in their hearts can be swept away. I'm not that weak, and I feel that I can cultivate my body at any time. It's not a matter of a day or two anyway. Do you want to leave now? Urza stared straight at Ye Qiu. How could this tone sound like a girl in love? Feeling that the air seems to be filled with the sour smell of love, the single comrades of Fairy Tale, their hearts instantly began to be extremely heavy. I don't want to leave, just because you are so strong. I have a little idea, and it is a very whimsical idea. If this idea is realized, I think whether it is my strength or your strength, it will be a huge improvement in a short period of time. Is it so exaggerated? Strength is something that is cultivated step by step. Could it be that this guy Ye Qiu took out a book from somewhere, let Urza look at it for a while, and then directly put Natsu beat? In fact, for everyone, even if Urza's body is a little weaker now, defeating Natsu should be expected. It's not necessary. Could it be that this guy feels comfortable if he has to do something unexpected? For Ye Qiu's decision, everyone in Fairy Tale, who was waiting for the show, was not very satisfied. If Urza's fighting style is no different from yesterday, then they must add Ye Qiu to the unpopular blacklist of Fairy Tale, and it must be ranked first. What, can't we start now? The other protagonist, Natsu, looked at Ye Qiu with some dissatisfaction. I'm sorry, I have some ideas that must be practiced. I think Natsu, your strength is not bad, you should want to fight with a stronger Urza. Ye Qiu found Natsu's point all at once. To fight with Urza, it must be to fight with Urza who is in the best condition, otherwise, what is the meaning of fighting for him? Okay, I'll wait a moment, you try to hurry up. Natsu, who was very talkative, scratched his head and sat next to Lucy with Hovey. Mira, miss, can you prepare a room for me? Ye Qiu asked politely. Come with me. Mira gave Ye Qiu a white look and then motioned him to follow her to the spare restroom in the guild. Can I stay? After entering the room, Mira was even more curious about what Ye Qiu wanted to do. After all, Ye Qiu took out a book and displayed a set of amazing knife skills before, which still made Mila very interested. Now, if you actually have to avoid other people, there will definitely be something more interesting than reading a book to improve your strength. As Ye Qiu's idol, Mila felt that this small request should not be considered excessive. Well, definitely not too much. She was just satisfying her own curiosity. No problem, you can stay here. Just if I ask you not to make a sound later, please. Ye Qiu said this very politely, but for some reason, Mila just felt very uncomfortable, as if she was more alienating from Ye Qiu than Erza. Obviously Ye Qiu is begging for her. How could Erza, who didn't help him in any way, get so many benefits instead? Is it really what the old men thought? No, with Mila's intuition, it can be easily seen that there is nothing unimaginable between Ye Qiu and Erza. Mila pouted and sat silently in the corner of the room, but she had to take a good look at what Ye Qiu was going to do with Erza. Erza is also very curious. Ye Qiu's method is completely different from the method she used to know. What kind of method will this time, so that her strength can be rapidly improved? Another book. Ask for flowers. When Ye Qiu pulled out one of her hair and turned into a book, Erza felt a little helpless. It was impossible for her to read a book and become stronger. Just talking about Jiuyang divine art, if it wasn't for Ye Qiu's inner strength to help her walk around in her body, with her own comprehension, she would not understand 2 words about Jiuyang divine art. Still can't understand it at all. The cultivation methods and thoughts described in Jiuyang Shengong are completely different from magic. Elsa is a genius who cultivates magic, but it is completely reasonable that she cannot use her talent to cultivate internal strength. Ye Qiu, why don't I just fight Natsu like this? Erza backed off a little. Ye Qiu seemed to see Erza's thoughts and said with some amusing, "What are you thinking? This is not for you to see. It is for me to see. The exercises to be practiced." The exercises? Isn't it magic? Mira seems to be aware of something. It turns out that the moves Ye Qiu cultivated did not evolve from magic, but from those books called Gongfa, the first floor of The Magic of Wedding Dress. Wedding dress magic true qi belongs to Jigang Jiyang Kung Fu. After you practice it, the true qi will become as fierce as a flame. Suffering, that kind of pain, is really unbearable for human beings, so he can only transfer his true energy to others. But if you practice this wedding dress magic, it will take at least 20 years of hard work. Elsa is a practitioner of the 9 Yang divine art. Although she is only a beginner, her physique is still more suitable for the cultivation art of the extreme sun, which made Ye Qiu think of the marrying clothes divine art. With Ye Qiu's current strength, it doesn't take long to cultivate into the first stage of the wedding dress magic. The running route of the wedding dress magic art and the thought of the exercises are indeed very miraculous, which made Ye Qiu feel pleasantly surprised. Moreover, once he cultivated into the wedding dress magic, for the cultivator himself, his spirit, energy, and spirit will be permanently improved. Under Myra's curious eyes, Ye Qiu directly started to practice with his knees crossed. Small. Erza remembered what Ye Qiu said: when cultivating internal skills, if you feel pain in the meridians, you cannot continue to practice. However, Erusa, who had just started to practice the 9 suns, was probably because her aptitude was really good. After practicing for 2 hours in the morning, she still had some energy left at this time, so she started to practice with her knees crossed, just like Ye Qiu. What a weird pose. Mira saw the movements of the two and seemed to have guessed that Ye Qiu's incomparable strength was born out of this kind of training. Only, it's been so long, so boring. Those 2 people actually sat there for an entire hour, and Mila, who supported her chin, almost fell asleep without being so sleepy. Is this the morning? An hour later, Ye Qiu opened his eyes again. Ming 880 seemed to be a little more domineering, and Mila, who was paying attention to him, was shocked. In her eyes, those demons who agreed to make a magic contract with her, the domineering hidden in their eyes, were not as domineering as Ye Qiu. But the good thing is that the domineering in Ye Qiu's eyes just flashed away, and it was suppressed again by the Zhongjing and peaceful Jiuyang divine art. Good luck, the time is much shorter than I thought. A faint smile appeared on Ye Qiu's face. Can you become stronger just by sitting like that? Shouldn't you use some other method to cultivate? Mira couldn't help but ask. Elsa, who opened her eyes again, showed a strange expression. Although I also think it's very magical, sitting can really strengthen. In fact, cultivation can become stronger, but Mira does not understand the reason. Mira was speechless for a while. She couldn't understand a single word of what these 2 people said, but looking at it now, she could see the picture of Erza getting stronger. Ye Qiu, Are you quick to make Urza stronger? That guy's voice from Natsu has been urging him several times outside. Mira said helplessly. Ye Qiu smiled slightly. There's no problem. It doesn't take a quarter of an hour for Urza to become stronger. It's just that her improved strength can't fully turn into her own strength, and it still doesn't meet my expectations. Mila pouted. Elsa was already an S-rank mage, and if she wanted to become stronger at this time, she would definitely need a long period of practice. Ye Qiu's ability to make Urza stronger in just a few words was already shocking. As for how much stronger she became, the requirements should not be so high. As for how she became stronger, what made Mira a little speechless was that Ye Qiu actually let Urza continue to sit there. Yep, still sitting there. As for Yi himself, he sat directly behind Urza and motioned Urza to change her armor. With yesterday's practice as a foreshadowing, Urza has no hesitation. On Mila's side, it seemed even more strange. She even suspected that Ye Qiu was not taking advantage of Urza. It's too much to look at. In Ye Qiu's view, the things that Mila is incomprehensible are the simplest things. The infuriating energy of the first-level wedding dress magic skill that had just been cultivated was poured into Urza's body at an extremely fast speed. Run the 9 ice technique. Ye Qiu's voice exploded in Urza's ears. Elsa was still in shock just now. From her point of view, internal strength and magic are still somewhat similar in nature, and they both need to rely on their own efforts to cultivate. What she didn't expect was that Ye Qiu directly poured the incomparably mellow inner strength into her body. Unlike yesterday, who used her restraint to lead her to find the sense of qi, the mellow inner strength that Ye Qiu poured into her body this time, as long as she operates the Jiuyang divine art, those inner strengths will immediately become the Jiuyang true qi that she cultivated by herself. Originally, Irusa felt that cultivating Jiuyang divine art was a bit slow. If it would take more than 10 years or even decades to cultivate Jiuyang divine art to the level of Ye Qiu, then she might as well concentrate on her practice. Magic. From what it looked like now, Ye Qiu had cultivated to such a level within a year, and there really was another way. After all, Urza was an S-rank magician. As soon as her thoughts turned around, she immediately calmed down. Following the route of the first-level 9 Yang divine art, she began to patiently operate the inner strength mental method. It feels very good. Compared to the hair-like true qi, Ye Qiu poured it into her body, and the vast ocean-like true qi made Urza feel incomparably happy. About 10 minutes later, a layer of fine sweat beads appeared on Ye Qiu's head. This wedding dress magic is simply too domineering. The true qi cultivated by oneself has really become someone else's wedding dress. Fortunately, Ye Qiu had the ability to burn fruit, and he almost had to pour the Jiuyang divine art he had cultivated into Elsa's body just now. Jiuyang's infuriating qi is of the same origin, but Jiushin Gongyang is not a wedding dress magic. If it is really absorbed by Elsa, Ye Qiu will really cry. You have to practice again to come back. Using the power of burning the fruit to forcibly turn the meridians in his body into flames, Ye Qiu was able to get rid of the domineering power of the wedding dress magic. The first step, the practice is successful. A look of surprise appeared on Urza's face. Ye Qiu, I have successfully cultivated the first stage of the 9 Yang divine art. Jiuyang magic? What is that? How does it sound weird? Mila put her curious eyes on Ye Qiu, but she could clearly see that Ye Qiu showed a faint weakness. It seems that 3.8. Ye Qiu was just using his own strength to force Urza to become stronger? If this is the case, what is the purpose of giving the strength of his hard cultivation to others? Could it be that Ye Qiu is really interested in Urza? Thinking of the cold Elsa who wears armor all day and bullies the men in the guild, Mira is a bit of a snack. You are clearly the girl most popular with the mages, okay? The second level of practice is for you, practice well. Ye Qiu directly threw the second-level cultivation booklet of Jiuyang divine art he was carrying into Urza's hand. Speaking of which, it really lacks a space equipment. If there is a chance, if you can open an arbitrary door to the world of Dragon Ball and let Bulma help to study the space equipment, you don't need to carry the door so hard and put the book on your body. Elsa became familiar with the cultivation route of the second level of Jiuyang divine art, and she put away the booklet with great solemnity. Speaking of which, Urza's dressing up magic seems to be a space attribute. Ye Qiu's eyes lit up when he thought of this. If you bring Urza with you, wouldn't it mean that you have brought a humanoid storage device? Why didn't you think of it before? Joyoung divine art is so powerful. I feel that my body has never been so good. Urza moved for a while, and the whole person seemed to be very energetic. In Myra's eyes, Elsa was not only very spiritual, but her temperament was much better, which made her faintly envious. Spirit, strength have been greatly improved. And Urza can clearly feel that the internal force in the battle will bring her unexpected effects. Thinking of Zhang Wuji's great achievements in Joyoung divine art back then, even if he didn't learn any moves, his strength was very good, and the learning speed of Joyoung divine art practitioners would also be greatly improved. Ye Qiu was able to learn the wood-burning sword technique so quickly because he had a deeper level of Joyoung 12 divine art practice, and his insights and understanding of moves became more thorough. As far as learning is concerned, Joyoung Shengong is a bug learning plugin comparable to Xiaowuxiang Shengong. Thinking that Urza doesn't use knives, Ye Qiu thinks that Natsu prefers to use melee combat to solve the battle. Then get a melee move and let Urza learn it. As for function legs, Urza should still be able to comprehend it, so the rest is melee moves. The 18 dragon subduing palms are too strong and not very suitable for Urza. Now that Tianshuang fist and function legs have been created, let's create cloud dispelling palm as well. If the function legs are matched with the cloud discharging palm, it is still very interesting. But the only regret is that Elsa's cramming, plus she has only completed the 9 Young Divine Art Cultivation 1 level. It is estimated that the effect will not be so ideal. Also read this book and learn as many tricks as you can. When Ye Qiu used a single hair to create Pai Yantang again, the weakness of the whole person was already visible to the naked eye. Even if Urza was slow in certain matters, she could see Ye Qiu's discomfort at this time. Are you okay? It's okay, it's just that to activate my own abilities, I need to consume a little blood. With my current cultivation base, I should be able to replenish this blood in the past month. Ye Qiu said indifferently. Having said that, Ye Qiu had to pay a very high price in order to obtain his current strength, and his vitality could almost be said to be excessively overdrawn. If he didn't go further on the road of internal cultivation, let alone the life expectancy of ordinary people, with Ye Qiu's current vitality, he probably wouldn't be able to live for 20 years. Of course, he didn't care much about this, because Ye Qiu firmly believed that he could continue to become stronger, and the loss of vitality would gradually be replenished in the course of cultivation. Mila was also a little worried about Ye Qiu's body, but she was more concerned about Ye Qiu's ability, which was actually created with hair. Is this the source of his power? The books created with Ye Qiu's hair seem to be very powerful. Do you want to have a good relationship with Ye Qiu in the future and also get a book to read? Urza needs to use the method of forcing her strength to become stronger. Maybe she can get stronger by taking a look at it herself? Mira is still very confident in her own strength and aptitude. However, after reading those books, Urza really needs to see how strong she has become. Mira still needs to look at it to know. Natsu, who will be later, is the best touchstone. Poor Natsu, who didn't know that he was inexplicable, became the touchstone of others' experimental strength. At this time, he was already eager to try, and wanted to prove to everyone that he could defeat Urza. As long as you defeat Urza in front of everyone, when you see Urza in the future, you don't have to be so timid, and even when you become an S-rank mage in the future, you will appear more confident. When will Urza come out? I'm so bored. Natsu was lying on the table with some salted fish. Natsu wasn't very interested in things like drinking, and could only lie on the table bored. Lucy complained, "Why do you have to fight Urza? Everyone is a guild." Besides, Natsu, haven't you ever won Urza? Yes, that's why I have to fight. I think I will definitely win this time, Natsu said with interest. Surely? I don't think so. Lucy felt that there was a terrifying monster like Ye Qiu that could make Urza helpless, and the enhanced version of Urza was definitely not something to mess with. God bless you, Natsu. As a member of the guild brought to the guild by Natsu, Lucy doesn't think that Natsu will win at this time, but she still hopes from the bottom of her heart that Natsu can survive well. Well, if she doesn't survive, how can she find Natsu to form a team to do a mission, and then easily get a little reward for the mission and pay the rent? After waiting for another 20 minutes at 880, Mila walked out from the back of the union with Ye Qiu. Seeing Urza's appearance, her mental head seemed to have gotten better. Urza, I can't wait. Let's start fighting. Natsu's fists collided, and the flames of the Dragon Slayer magic began to move. Ye Qiu, can't I really use dress-up magic? I don't know why, but I really want to beat up this guy Natsu. Urza looked at Ye Qiu seriously. Don't worry, the 9-yang divine art you practiced is the ultimate yang art. You will have natural immunity to all fire damage. Natsu is not your opponent, and his dragon-slaying magic, if it is weakened, it will not be your opponent. Moreover, new fighting methods can always be improved in actual combat. Ye Qiu is a little weak now, but his tone is still unusually relaxed. If she really thinks her wedding dress magic is white, without using dressing magic, Urza naturally cannot reach the level of an S-rank magician, but if she is defeated by Natsu, that is also true. Not an easy task. I know, I'll try my best. Urza also felt that her strength had reached a bottleneck before, since Ye Qiu said so why not try it? No need for dressing magic? Natsu found it a little difficult to understand. As a sorcerer, if you don't use the magic that you are best at, how can you fight against others? Could it be that Urza is deliberately losing to herself? Elsa, I'm serious about fighting with you. You can't let the water go. Urza looked at Natsu calmly. Don't worry, I won't release water, and I'll beat you up. They were still worried before that Ye Qiu gave Urza some kind of ecstasy soup. At this time, they were a little relieved. At least for now, Urza was still the domineering fairy queen, the one they knew. Elsa, Mira, what the hell did they do in there? Kana asked with a slightly drunken expression. Mila shook her head. Sit, and then read? Anyway, I don't really understand what Ye Qiu did. But it seems that Ye Qiu has become weaker, while Urza has indeed become stronger. What? Ye Qiu got weaker, Urza got stronger? Could it be the magic of lending your own strength to others in a short period of time? It sounds miraculous, but it's not so fantastic. Let's see if the strength Urza borrowed from Ye Qiu can suppress the little monster Natsu. Everyone has watched Natsu grow up. How do you know that this little monster's talent is very powerful? Maybe it was suppressed by Urza before, but one day in the future, Natsu will definitely not be a wizard weaker than Urza, might even be stronger. The battle between Urza and Natsu didn't need Makarov to start out, and it didn't need to go outside the town. After all, I didn't know how many times this kind of battle had been experienced before. Well, everyone still likes to see Natsu being abused. Let's start. This time, Ye Qiu and Mila were in charge of the battle. With the real combat power of the two, once something happened, only the two of them could stop it immediately. Of course, with Ye Qiu around, Mila doesn't feel that someone who hasn't shot for many years still needs to make a shot. Urza really listened to Ye Qiu's words and did not hold the knight's sword that she used very easily in her hand. Natsu is empty-handed and Urza is also empty-handed. Go ahead. Urza motioned to Natsu to take the lead. The iron fist of the fire dragon. Natsu, who has long been used to it, is naturally not polite at all, and if he is polite with Urza, he will be the one who will suffer in the end. With a roaring flaming iron fist, it instantly attacked Urza. Catch the shadows. Urza didn't have much confidence to perform the move of the cloud-dispelling palm, but Ye Qiu had already helped her through the move in the morning. With Urza's comprehension, she performed it smoothly. Same as Ye Qiu before? Naturally, Natsu and the others have seen the power of Function's legs. Urza, who was supposed to meet Natsu head-on, actually used her faster speed than Natsu to avoid this attack. So fast. In the eyes of others, Urza's steps were obviously very light, and she couldn't see any explosive power, but her speed was faster than any of them. According to the cognition of everyone in fairy tale, speed and strength are matched. Only the incomparably powerful strength can support the extremely fast speed. If the strength of the body is insufficient, it is impossible to explode the speed. Shattered cognition. Urza's previous inherent impression was that she was wearing incomparably hard armor, and she would do it if she didn't accept it. Violent woman. A proper spokesperson for violence. It is said that Mira was also a very violent female setting before, but after the incident with her own sister, her whole personality changed suddenly. Could it be that? Is it because of the little b*** d Ye Qiu that Urza has gone through the process of changing from a girl to a woman, and her personality has changed drastically, and her fighting style has become even more elusive? It's just the speed. What's going on? Strength is indeed the basis of speed, and how could Urza not use her strength when she casts the Fengshen leg? It's just that the power Urza uses is not the purest physical power, but also internal power. One of the fighting methods that people who practice inner strength pay attention to is the use of skill, and Urza is getting familiar with the method of using inner strength to fight. Kind of addicting. This kind of footwork that can easily dodge other people's moves and magic is simply a bug. Irusa felt that if she could cultivate Fengshen's legs to the level of Ye Qiu, that kind of realm where Eli Goer's whirlwind wall was forcibly kicked away, even if she didn't practice Jiuyang Shinggong, she could still compete with NES, class mage battle. If you take into account her own strength, Urza has the confidence to fight against a wholly 10-level existence like Makarov. Missing a hit, Natsu was not discouraged at all. The Iron Fist of the Fire Dragon. This time, Natsu increased the output of magic power, directly using the reaction force of the combustion to charge towards Urza at a faster speed. Shouldn't be able to escape this time. Natsu's confidence is high and Urza's speed is even faster. Still catching the wind. The speed did not become faster, but he still managed to dodge Natsu's attack. Natsu's Iron Fist, the chance was to wipe Urza's hair past, and even Urza could smell a trace of her hair being burnt. But she still avoided it, which made Urza even more excited. Ye Qiu was right. Even if she didn't apply dressing magic, she was enough to be Natsu's opponent now. Now that you are familiar with the basic footwork of Fengshen's legs, it is time to start attacking. The strength of Fengshen's legs is not only the dodging of this footwork, but also in terms of attacking Fengshen's legs are not weak at all. Eelis legs, Tempest. Relying on her own, Qian's, who had successfully practiced the first level 9 Sun's divine art, Urza launched a violent attack on Natsu. God, the attack speed of this leg. It is beyond the limits of human beings. Anyway, if you use magic, it is impossible to have this effect. It is definitely a pure physical attack effect. Urza's previous physical skills were indeed among the fairy tale, and could be said to be the strongest existence. However, the strongest is the strongest, but everyone knows that Urza's strength has not reached the level they saw at this time. Ye Qiu is really amazing. Soft. In such a short period of time, one can become stronger. If you have a good relationship with him, can you become stronger yourself? I don't need to be as strong as Urza now. It's almost enough to reach Natsu's current level. If all fairy tales are wizards of Natsu's level, what will be the face of the Magic Council in the future? Just thinking about it makes my heart feel so hot. The eyes of everyone in fairy tale looking at Ye Qiu are no longer the faint hostility at the beginning. Ye Qiu in their eyes now is a super plugin who has become stronger. Awesome. Can you have this kind of footwork and speed just by sitting there? Mira sighed. Ye Qiu shook his head slightly. How can there be such a good thing in the world? Sitting there is because you need to cultivate, and the power of cultivation is like your magic power. What we cultivate is called internal power. Without internal power as a support, even if it is no matter how powerful Urza's moves are, she can't be Natsu's opponent. On the contrary, the stronger her internal strength, the stronger Urza will become, which is not fundamentally different from cultivating magic. Inner strength? Sure enough, it is a power that is different from magic. This power called internal force seems to be more focused on melee attacks. Mira was also a genius-level figure after all, and it soon became apparent that Urza's attack was almost completely irrelevant to magic. It was like the wood-burning sword technique that Ye Qiu used during the battle yesterday. Of course, yesterday, there were people in 880 who thought that if it was purely a move, whether it was Natsu or Gray, I'm afraid they could pose a threat to Ye Qiu. But Urza's fighting style today seems to be telling everyone one thing, that is, as long as Ye Qiu is willing, even Natsu's type of magic will not be able to cause any damage to Ye Qiu. That level of dodging is simply terrifying. And once Urza was allowed to use her speed to get close, it was the most terrifying thing for a magician. Natsu was caught in this predicament. Urza's leg technique wasn't as fast as Ye Qiu's knife attack yesterday, but it wasn't the speed of Natsu's reaction, so he could completely defend against it. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. In the sight of everyone, Natsu was actually retreating continuously. In these years of competition with Gray, the strength of Natsu's melee combat is obvious to all. Urza, who doesn't hold a sword, and Urza, who doesn't use dress-up magic, are not necessarily Natsu's opponents in terms of physical fitness. But now, they actually saw the trend of crushing. Even though Natsu's hands were still on fire, Urza didn't seem to be afraid of the temperature of those flames at all. Jiuyong's true qi helped Urza to resist a part of the damage of the flame, and the Function's legs also resisted part of it. Although it is said that the wind borrows the fire, if the wind is strong enough, it can blow away the flame or even extinguish it directly. For now, Natsu didn't burst out with all his strength, and even a small burst of flames was completely unable to cause any damage to Urza's feet. Boom! In the end, Natsu couldn't withstand the first 5 moves of Urza Function's legs and kept changing the method of kicks and punches, and was kicked out without being able to fight back. Amazing! This kind of fighting method full of skills can really make people improve a lot of strength in a short period of time. As long as you don't encounter a wide range of magic, after using the speed to get close, it will inevitably lead to an absolute advantage in the situation. Urza also didn't expect that she hadn't even used the half-baked cloud-dispelling palm, and Natsu had already been attacked by herself. Natsu obviously did not expect that Urza would actually use this fighting method, making him seem powerless to fight back. No, can't go on like this. In the end, Natsu still wants to win the battle with Urza. He has been waiting for this day for many years, and now his strength has become much stronger. If he fails so aggrievably, he is really very unwilling. Dragon's Wing Strike. Since melee combat doesn't work, then use a relatively long-range attack to consume Urza's stamina. If nothing else, Natsu felt that he was definitely stronger than Urza in terms of physical strength. After all, Urza's battle is almost completely melee combat, and his words are mainly based on dragon-slaying magic. Natsu jumped high, and the flames wrapped around his hands really seemed to be the wings of a pair of western dragons, and swept towards Urza on the ground. The flame of the Dragon Slayer magic is indeed slightly more powerful than the ordinary flame that burns the fruit. I don't know when my strength can be exchanged for burning art, and then I can exchange the strange fire. Otherwise, ordinary flames will simply reduce the upper limit of burning fruit a lot. As for the awakening of devil fruit, I don't know if I can comprehend it. Brilliant. Hit hard. Without any hesitation, Elsa made a resolute move and swept towards the 2 clusters of flames that were photographed. Boom. The power of the wind, after all, was much weaker, and the flames that should have been kicked away directly still caused some damage to Urza. Effective. Natsu's eyes lit up. Increase the magic attack. If Urza does not use the dressing magic, there is no way to block the full power of his dragon-slaying magic. Do you want to stop it? Mira looked at Ye Qiu. Urza didn't know how to fight in this state yesterday, and it seemed too reluctant to completely control this kind of power in one day. If she could be allowed to use her dressing-up magic, Mira felt that there was no need to stop her. Ye Qiu said with a smile, "Don't worry, Urza can still solve this little trouble. Don't underestimate my ability and vision. Urza's potential is no less than anyone else's." Dispel the clouds, palm heavy clouds and deep blocks. Compared with function legs, Cloud Dispelling Palm has more moves, and because of attributes, the changes in battle are also slightly more. The Cloud Dispelling Palm brought by Jiuyong Truchi is not very skilled, but the Cloud Chi catalyzed by Jiuyong Truchi directly caused a hazy cloud to appear in front of Elsa. Amazing. This is the method of melee combat, and it really can create magic-like abilities. Regarding Ye Qiu's words yesterday, Everyone was still skeptical, but now they completely believed it. I didn't think that Urza's casual attack could still form a cloud. On Natsu's side, because of the occlusion of clouds, the viewing angle was instantly missing. Taking advantage of Natsu's lack of perspective at this moment, Urza directly maximized the speed of catching the wind. The third style of cloud dispelling palm, overturning the clouds and covering the rain. With a ghostly figure, Urza, who instantly passed through the clouds and fluttered her palms, also slapped all her attacks on Natsu, who was too late to cast the dragon-slaying magic again. You lose. Urza calmly looked at Natsu, who fell to the ground. Natsu rapped his chest, trying to struggle to get up, saying that he has not lost yet and can continue to fight. But it's really uncomfortable. After being attacked by Urza this time, the discomfort I felt was completely different from before, and Natsu couldn't stand up with will. Internal injuries are still more serious than external injuries. Even if Urza is still in the dark, but after all, it is a move that uses internal power, and it still causes a little internal injury to Natsu. It is estimated that it will take a few days to cultivate. Tired. Natsu felt very aggrieved. Why did he lose like this? It doesn't make sense. The dragon-slaying magic hasn't been fully displayed, okay? Clap. 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 An inexplicable applause interrupted what Natsu wanted to say. Ye Qiu, right? You are very strong. Although I don't know where you came from, you have the qualifications to fight me. Looking at Laxus, who was wearing clothes and walking out of the crowd, Ye Qiu was speechless. Sorry, I'm not interested. Ye Qiu shrugged. People in fairy tale world basically use magic to fight. He really has no desire to fight, and he is not a person who develops towards the remote master. Underestimate me? Laxus was a little displeased. No, it's just that I don't like to fight with mages in the first place. Urza's words are an alternative. Fighting with mages is actually very boring. The paths we have to take are different. It doesn't make much sense. Ye Qiu answered very honestly. However, this honest answer offended almost all the mages. Hey, kid, what are you talking about? Laxus, although we see you very upset. But, ***k him. Hammer him. Beat him. You shouldn't have said that. Urza was a little helpless. Ye Qiu said indifferently, it's the truth, there's nothing that should or shouldn't be said. I don't like to tell lies, especially to deceive some weaker beings. Weak existence? Laxus really wants to laugh. He's an S-rank mage. Moreover, he is also the heir of Dragon Slayer magic, possessing the terrifying Thunder Dragon Slayer magic. In his opinion, apart from the old man who will not abdicate, among the demon tales, he is the strongest Uncle Laxus. Ye Qiu is in a bad state today because of my affairs. So, Laxus, you should change the time. For another challenge, I agreed for him. Urza stood between Ye Qiu and Laxus. Elsa, this is a matter between me and Qiu. Don't forget, he is not a member of our fairy tale, so if you insist on helping him, then I will be welcome. Laxus clenched his fists and grinned with a penetrating smile. When Urza was about to say something, Ye Qiu gently pressed Urza's shoulder and shook his head at him. I learned a little trick a while ago. Because my strength has always been stronger than others, I rarely use this trick. But today, everyone will forgive me. I don't really want to fight, so please stay here for a while. Bar. Catch the shadows. Ye Qiu used the same footwork as Urza, but his speed completely surpassed Urza by more than one level. Laxus screamed badly. He didn't expect Ye Qiu to be so shameless. He said he would do it. Of course, he wasn't afraid of Ye Qiu, but the melee combat ability Urza showed just now made Laxus feel a little bit of fear. The magic element on Laxus began to riot in an instant. However, Ye Qiu was the first to strike, and he had already figured out what he was going to do. How could it be possible for Laxus to easily succeed? Sunflower acupuncture hand. Some time ago, Ye Qiu was thinking about how to control villains smoothly without killing villains. Thinking of this, I thought of acupuncture. Of all the acupuncture methods, the one that satisfied Ye Qiu the most was naturally the sunflower acupuncture hand. It is quick to cast spells and can increase the flexibility of fingers and wrists, which is of great help for other moves. The most important thing is that the control time of the sunflower acupuncture hand is quite long. Laxus' magic element rioted, and before he could release a magic, he was locked in place. Ask for flowers. In an instant, all the riots of magical elements subsided, and Laxus still maintained a ferocious and arrogant expression. As for the others, they didn't realize what Ye Qiu wanted to do, but under the absolute speed of chasing the wind, he was quickly locked in place, unable to move at all, looking like a scarecrow. What happened to them? Mira opened her mouth slightly. Quiet in an instant. All the people kept their very different expressions, and the postures were not repeated, but they were like sculptures, posing without feeling tired at all. Apart from her and Urza, only hubby hovered in the sky in fear, not daring to come down and speak for a long time. Point 0. Acupuncture, a little trick. It can control people's blood smoothly through acupuncture points. It can block energy and even make them immobile. Ye Qiu explained one sentence. What are the acupoints? Mila glanced at Ye Qiu angrily. Specifically to say something that I don't understand. Does this be asterisk? D deliberately want to see her give up her current gentle appearance. I almost couldn't help but get my hands on it. Mira didn't even remember how many years she hadn't wanted to pick up someone so much. This. If you are interested, you can ask Urza. Ye Qiu said, a little afraid of trouble. It really sucks. Mira really wants to make a move. You can say so carefully to Urza, so detailed, why when you ask a question, just ask Urza to solve it. Is it too much? Excessive? Seems a little too much. But Ye Qiu hasn't planned to learn magic with Mira for the time being, so he didn't pay much attention to what he said. The main thing is that Urza is now a space equipment. Ye Qiu still pays more attention to fooling Urza to follow him to other worlds. Acupuncture point? The inner strength is so amazing. Urza has been practicing for a day, thinking that she already has a 90% understanding of her inner strength. Now it seems that she thinks too much, and inner strength is really more amazing than magic. This is the power that everyone can cultivate as long as they are suitable. Small. Urza fell into a strange emotion. It's really amazing. Urza, who is not very fond of learning, directly took out the 2 booklets Ye Qiu had given them and read them carefully. Originally, she had the idea that she could become stronger by teaching Ye Qiu the power, but Urza wanted to become stronger quickly in a short period of time. But now she sinks her heart and goes to see Jiuyang divine art again, and she has gained a lot more experience than she imagined. Okay, let's go to the guild and talk. Anyway, these guys won't go back for a long time. I have time to explain it to you. Ye Qiu spread his hands. When the sports festival on Wei Ying's side is successfully held, Ye Qiu plans to open another random door. It's strange to say that the one from 8 or 97 was added to any of his doors, but it was actually merged with the original one. It was quite miraculous. Ideas, reach any world you want to go. Of course, to go to a specific place, you still need specific geographic information. In the Fairy Tales Guild, it took half a day to explain to Mila the knowledge of internal skills and martial arts moves, and Mila directly asked for a copy of Fengxian's legs. Ye Qiu was considered been let go. As for internal strength training, Mira didn't think about it for the time being. She didn't really want to fight anymore. However, the speed of Fengxian's legs is very fast, and Mila likes it very much. She feels that if she can increase the speed of her own movement when delivering meals to guests, she can save some time and do what she wants to do. I want to be stronger. When Urza returned to the guild, the group of guys who were pinned by the river, no one had recovered from the state of acupuncture, but Urza said something inexplicably. Didn't I already make you stronger? As I said, strength is not something you can have if you want. Without the accumulation of time, do you think you can master any powerful power? You only practiced for a year. Urza didn't give in at all. Ye Qiu rolled his eyes. His quirks are so powerful. Of course, he only needs to practice for a year to become stronger. Elsa's current body is not strong enough to withstand the second wedding dress magic. Unless her Jiuyang magic practice speed can reach at least 1/5 of Ye Qiu's cultivation speed, the wedding dress magic will be restored to the second level of skill. Ye Qiu had no way to pass it on to Urza. Only practiced for a year? Mira, who was looking at the eeless leg cheats, seemed to have heard another great news, which can be said to be a big news. Okay. If you want to become stronger, you must travel with me. I will go to some more magical places and see some people and things you have never seen before. For example, I am currently going to after 3 places. The 3rd place is you. To be honest, I am confident that I can remain undefeated as a magician of the holy 10th level. But in one place, there are at least 5 or more existences. Of course, not necessarily yes. They can all beat me. Ye Qiu said seriously. Teacher Bangu, who is in full state, Saitama with a bald head, a cosmic man who has not yet reached the earth, a big snake of the weird association, or a tornado who wants to kill himself in an instant. The world of One Punch is still very dangerous. As for fairy tale, magic is very magical, and there are indeed many powerful people, but Ye Qiu really has a way to be invincible in this world. Magic's fighting style cannot be said to be very flexible, and his burning fruit is almost unbeatable here. In terms of pure power, it is stronger than the world of our British, but in terms of real high-end combat power, it may be slightly weaker than the world of One Punch. Of course, in terms of average strength, the One Punch world is incomparable. A-level heroes or something is simply too weak. Urza thought for a while, if it's not a long trip, I can go with you, as long as I can become stronger. Don't worry, it will become stronger. Ye Qiu said with a smile. The abduction was successful. After another 3 days, the lax aside, after going through the penalty station of the sunflower acupuncture hand, did not continue to look for Ye Qiu's trouble, but under his gloomy expression, there seemed to be something big. Plan. As for Natsu. Trouble. Finally, in order to prove his strength, this guy took the task list from Canal Island. Oh, cursed island. There is not only a sealed and powerful demon hidden in it, but also another disciple of Ulu, Leon. Ye Qiu, can I ask you to bring those little bastards back? President Makarov found the wild area with some embarrassment. Ye Qiu thought for a moment, then showed a slight smile. This matter is fine. However, Mr. President, I think it would be better to leave this matter to my Fubuki office. Of course, this is not a magic guild. It's just me. A hero's firm was established with the purpose of helping others solve their problems. As for the remuneration, it still needs a little bit. If possible, let's take a real estate lease contract in a town, and we may open a branch here. What? Hero's office? What kind of organization is this? Even Malaloff heard it for the first time, and after hearing it, his face was blank. Urza was quite clear. After all, Ye Qiu suggested to her before that she should join the Fubuki office. Cough. Ye Qiu, so you have a companion. Since your office has the word heroes on it, then you must be doing good things. There is no problem with the lease contract, as long as you are responsible. Just give the money. Ye Qiu didn't have the identity proof of Fiori Kingdom, and he lived in Urza's house every day, but he was envious of a group of people in the guild. No problem. Urza, 3.8 my door. Ye Qiu snapped his fingers. They all agreed to take Urza on a trip, and it was logical to put some things in her dressing room. After the random door was taken out by Urza, Ye Qiu went in for a while, and then he brought the duo of Helbuki and Hakuroju. No way, Baiha Ijia has been busy with the sports festival recently, and is honing her own strength every day. Although they want to come to Fubuki office as an intern, they still feel that they need to work with their parents and other heroes. In front, showing a good state of strength. Beauty. Beauty. Still beauty. Well, the big guy in fairy tale already completely admires Ye Qiu. This is the beauty harvester. Wait, this guy has been staying in our guild, and he doesn't join the guild. Isn't it just for the sake of a few girls in our guild? Huh? Where's Ye Qiu here? Your ability is really amazing. It turns out that there are many magical worlds outside our world. Fubuki looked at the surrounding environment in amazement. Amazing! Just from the clothes of everyone, it can be seen that this group of people in fairy tale is definitely not from the One Punch world, nor from the My British world where she is now, but from another world. Otherwise, these strange clothes are definitely not. It wouldn't be something she hadn't seen before. Outside our world? In an instant, the smarter group of people in the fairy tale had already reached a lot of conclusions, and they were still wondering why Ye Qiu's ability was so magical to a level they had never seen before, now from that beautiful girls in the words. Instead, some answers were obtained. In other words, they might think that Ye Qiu was a strong man who grew up in a remote country, but now it seems that he is a strong man from another world. They had heard before that there might be other worlds, otherwise the giant dragon would not disappear into the whole world in an instant. No one knows where those people went, but if there really are other worlds, if it exists, 12, then the disappearance of the dragon can be explained. I see. Urza's face was a little complicated. The so-called travel, do you actually want to go to other worlds? However, this sounds a bit interesting. Compared with Fiori Kingdom, other worlds may make him feel more at ease, and the things that have been suppressed in his heart will be relaxed. Little Ye Qiu, I really didn't expect it. Makarov exclaimed. Master Guildmaster, we also ask you to help keep our affairs secret. After all, this matter is not suitable for more people to know. But I believe you should also see that I am still very friendly to Fairy Tale, and I am also willing to we will maintain this friendly relationship with us for a long time. In the future, we may still have the opportunity to conduct trade. For example, if some members are with magic, I will also bring them to ask you for advice. Of course, if you want to travel to other worlds, also not negotiable. Ye Qiu said lightly. Hiss. Travel to other worlds. Originally, the girls in the Fairy Tale Guild were in a situation where there were too many monks and few porridge, but if they could go to other worlds, then those uncles felt that with their own charm. They might be able to find 1 or 2 beautiful women from other worlds. Hey, there must be beautiful women. Look at the 3 of Fubuki. None of them are not beautiful, and they have different temperaments. Ye Qiu, hurry up and tell me what this mission is. It's been a long time since I started. The group of people who harassed the Kento dojo recently are really too weak to watch. Wave Spiral curled his lips. The strength of these people? Makarov looked at Ye Qiu. It's about S rank. Even if they don't reach the level of 5th level mages, I believe they are similar. President Makarov doesn't have to worry about this. And I will follow if I remember correctly. If so, there's still something I'm looking for. Ye Qiu touched his chin. There is indeed, and it can still be verified that he has a point of view on certain things. Garner Island is imperative. Beautiful and powerful, this is a bit too much. Everyone in Fairy Tale was eager to try. Dongmei, show your quirks. Ye Qiu smiled slightly. In the eyes of everyone in Fairy Tale, a woman with glasses like Hong Dongmei is an extremely weak existence, and few people really think how strong she can be. Hong Dongmei glanced at the group of people around her who were staring at her. Ice. In an instant, all the people holding the wine glasses in their hands, including the wine in the wine glasses, all turned into ice cubes. It's so cold, so cold. My hand. It's freezing. This ability. Makarov has some admiration. For people in their world, such as Gray's ice modeling magic, it can also create the same effect, but in terms of speed, it is still much worse than Hong Dongmei. And, from the point of view of control, that weak little girl seems to be stronger than Gray. Speaking of which, Hong Dongmei's strength is slightly stronger than Gray's. Thanks to the training of the Trembling Tornado, it was the terrifying special training in that month that created the incomparably fine control at this moment. Okay, I believe that these 3 ladies have the strength of S-rank mages. Makarov spoke quickly. If it continues, the single men in the guild will probably look at him with resentful eyes for several days. Hand, but a man's treasure. Old man, give us a map, and I'll lead the team there. Makarov had already prepared and threw the map to Ye Qiu. Let's go. Fubuki, you are responsible for speeding up the 2 of them. On the way, consider it as a practice. Ye Qiu took the lead. Fubuki directly used his wind superpower to slightly increase the obstacles for the 2 of them. As for her own words, recently, I used Bai to fool the Fengshan Leg's secret book from Bai's side. It is already possible to freely use the terrifying wind superpower through the Fengshan Leg and fly freely in the sky. Fly up. It's a bit like 897's ability like Eli Gore, the god of death, but it's not the same as that god of death. This beautiful lady's ability seems to control the wind more peacefully. When passing by people, she can only feel bursts the breeze. So, what is the ability of the remaining girl with the curly hair that surpasses Urza and Mira? Who is Natsu? What's wrong with Natsu, and where is Natsu? It's not a question that everyone cares about anymore. The scenery of the world is the most important thing. Urza thought for a while. President, I'll go check it out. After all, not only Natsu, but Gray didn't come back either. Something might have happened. After Ursha finished speaking, she immediately moved her function legs and caught up with Ye Qiu. Makarov's expression is a little stunned. This is really a woman's college. As for Mira, I kinda wanna go. Following Ye Qiu's side, he was still able to see something interesting. The most important thing is that Ye Qiu showed her the secret book that she couldn't understand at all. That kind of inner strength cultivation method once made Mila wonder if Ye Qiu used it to fool her. Looking at Urza's back, Makarov had an idea in his heart. Because of Ye Qiu, a visitor from another world, perhaps one day in the future, Urza's strength will likely become the strongest among the fairy tale. The strongest. Really the strongest. In the future, he may not be Urza's opponent. A few people came to the port, and Urza already seemed to be a little weak. Even if there is Ye Qiu's wedding dress magic transmission, after all, the training time is quite short, and the thickness of internal strength is still a little weak. Compared with the girls who soaked in the medicinal bath package every day, there is always a big gap in internal strength. Even though he joined Fubuki office, he also got a lot of benefits from Ye Qiu, and he couldn't help but show a bad smile at this time. Ye Qiu, is it convenient for you to bring us here? Having said that, Hung Dongmei and Hel Fubuki reacted for a while, and watched Urza with a playful gaze, and this was how they reacted. In a substantial sense, the three of them really have no special relationship with Ye Qiu. At most they are colleagues. Perhaps Jiang Dongmei has a little worship for Ye Qiu. But speaking of the other members of the firm, they were really ruined by this guy Ye Qiu. Beast. Shameless B****************** D. Hel Fushue cursed inwardly, and at the same time quietly leaned towards Urza's side, for fear that Urza would be harmed by Ye Qiu so ignorantly. Seeing their strange expressions, Ye Qiu couldn't guess what they were thinking. Glancing at Waluoju, Ye Qiu said coldly, Garner Island is a cursed island anyway, and the boatmen around will not send us there. So I decided that everyone should go to Canal Island by their own strength. Cultivation is something that must be integrated into daily life. Cull. Wave Snail is a little disdainful, a cautious man. Doesn't he just want revenge? However, how could it be difficult for them to fall for such a small matter? And, what a cursed island. I really don't think that this seemingly peaceful world will have any powerhouses. When the members of the so-called Magic Guild just now saw them casting magic, they were all stunned, okay? Add a word. Can't use quirks and superpowers. Of course, Urza, you can't use magic either. But it seems that your magic won't affect things like crossing the sea for a long time. The corners of Ye Qiu's mouth rose. Without quirks and superpowers? The wave's spiral roll directly puffed out the steamed bun's face. Ye Qiu, you're going too far. Who knows how far the Canal Island is? Even if we swim by our strength, there will be moments when our strength is exhausted. Who told you to swim and increase your strength? Ye Qiu directly brought the wooden block he found on the way to the water surface. Look good, okay. Ye Qiu, who threw out the first block of wood, cast the wind and the shadow, and in an instant, from the shore, he guessed the block in the sea in the distance, and with the power of the block, he rose into the air again, and the moment he was in the air, even the wooden block was kicked out. Can light work still be used like this? Even with Ye Qiu's cultivation, he could even walk in the air, or even fly directly to Canal Island by stepping on the sea. It's just that he did this to demonstrate to the girls that Qigong can actually be used in various environments, and what they need is to find a way to use it. Awesome. Urza's previous understanding of Function's legs only stayed on making her dodge faster. Following Ye Qiu's method, Irusa directly threw the wooden block that Ye Qiu had left on purpose into the sea, and she jumped towards the sea without hesitation. The three girls of Helbuki Snow weren't so anxious, and now they could understand that Elu Juesha was a girl who firmly believed in Ye Qiu's words. Alas, I always feel like I'm going to fall into another one. Facts have proved that not taking action in advance is indeed a very correct thing. To be as easy as Ye Qiu is not an easy task at all. First of all, a person's weight is very heavy. Before the lightweight exercises have reached a certain level, if you want to rely on the plank to borrow strength on the sea, you must use the strength to get enough feet. Reaction force. Obviously, Urza found the position of the board and stepped on it. But that balance, as well as absolute control of power, is actually very demanding, and Urza still hasn't reached that level. Moreover, she only has one plank, and it would be even more difficult to kick the plank out when she was vacated again. Whoa! Unsurprisingly, Urza fell directly into the sea water. Why didn't it work? Urza's face was a little dazed. She obviously didn't expect that she had made all the preparations, but it ended in failure in the end. Forget it. Others have already tried it. Even if the possibility of success is not high, let's try it. After all, this is the most intuitive way to improve the strength of Function's legs. Helfubuki said helplessly. Difficult. Ye Qiu has simply presented them with a huge and incomparable problem. Crossing the sea in such a whimsical way is simply as difficult as going to the sky. Whoa, 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 whoa. 3 unintended sounds of falling into the water. Fortunately, there was no one on the coast Ye Qiu chose, so everyone's embarrassed appearance was not seen by others. Actually, you don't have to worry so much. You don't need to be like me. I will give you some help. Ye Qiu stood in the air and shrugged. Boom. Ye Qiu, who interrupted a tree on the coast, directly pushed the tree against his shoulders. From now on, you only need to pay attention to where the wood blocks fall. I will throw the wood planks on the sea. All you need to do is to find the wood blocks that are enough to borrow. Whoosh! 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 Ye Qiu's technique was very fast, and he threw 4 pieces of wood on the sea at will. The size was relatively large, and he could take advantage of a large country. The 4 daughters who had turned into chickens all looked at Ye Qiu with a helpless expression. This guy, it is clear that he will wait for them to fall into the water before he can tell the real difficulty. Treating girls like this is really too much. But in the end, they are all girls who want to become really strong. Compared to becoming a scumbag, everyone is more concerned about whether their strength can become stronger. Without any hesitation, this is a time to temper one's own strength, and it is also a competition. No one wants to lose. Ye Qiu has already reduced the difficulty of training a lot, but even so, it is only a rare case that he can successfully step on the wooden block he threw, and then successfully borrow strength. Because of her cultivation, Urza had forgotten the situation of the 3 of Natsu. When a few people arrived at Canal Island exhausted, the moonlight had already descended on the island. Compared with Ye Qiu, whose clothes are neat and tidy, the image of the 4 girls is really not very good. The clothes are soaked all over, and the mood is not very happy. Do you feel it? Ye Qiu frowned. Feel what? Helfubuki looked dissatisfied. I really can't feel anything other than cold. I said, Ye Qiu, did you guys deliberately want to take advantage of us? I feel it now, Urza said before Ye Qiu spoke. Hong Dongmei's fluctuations and Luowan also felt a little bit, and they stared at the sky above their heads with condensed eyes. Although it is not very obvious, they can still clearly feel that the internal force in their bodies has begun to move. On this island that is said to be cursed, there seems to be a magical power affecting their inner strength. 897-inch is a good place. I haven't seen anything like a curse, but this island still has great benefits for us. At least I wish you a period of time to practice than the effect of cultivating internal skills outside. Twice, triple, or even more. Ye Qiu said with satisfaction. The invisible power that blocks the sky is about to unblock the demons sealed by Ulu, but the pure and incomparable essence of the moon condensed by that power is simply a great supplement for cultivators. Even Ye Qiu had to admit that, even if it was his own words, he still wanted to practice here for a period of time in peace, so that his Jiuyang divine art would break through to a big realm in a short period of time. Should we practice here for a while? The wave spiral opened his mouth and proposed. In the past, she was very confident in her own strength, so she didn't care much about cultivation, because even if she didn't practice, she could use her terrifying quirks to successfully become the hero's leaderboard. The top few exist. But now, after Ye Qiu's attack, plus seeing the terrifying power of the trembling tornado, I also know that there are many other worlds outside their world, and there are even more powerful existence. The wave spiral has long since put away the little self-satisfaction in his heart. Now, the wave spiral is more about thinking about how to make his strength stronger. As long as you become stronger, you will be able to follow the hated Ye Qiu, see more worlds, and see more wonderful beauty. It is true that the scenery of those unknown worlds and the opponents of those unknown worlds all made Wave Spiral feel extremely excited. It's a good proposal. But I guess this kind of good thing will soon disappear. So, you should take the opportunity to practice for a while. Ye Qiu smiled mysteriously. Sooner or later, Natsu and the others are going to destroy the huge barrier in the sky, and then Garner Island will return to normal, becoming an ordinary island that is no different from other islands. What do you mean? Ye Qiu, why do I feel that you seem to know a little bit about everything? Isn't your quirks more than just creating? The wave spiral looked at Ye Qiu with a dissatisfied expression. Ye Qiu, a special advisor, hates her most. One is that he is very powerful, and the other is that he always likes to play mystery. He can explain things clearly, but he always sells things. The key is that this guy really knows a lot. Things they don't even know. Those are not the things you need to care about. All you need to do is to become stronger. If you don't want to be left behind, then practice hard. Ye Qiu didn't say much. Ye Qiu didn't give too much explanation. Instead, he directly picked up the wind to catch the shadows and swept towards the depths of Canal Island at a very fast speed. He was going to see Leon, but he used the magic of the moon to collect them. How many drops of the moon? For ordinary people, the droplets of the moon will contaminate their bodies because their physical strength is not enough, but for Ye Qiu, Jiuyang Divine Art has reached the current level, the purest power of the moon. For him, it is definitely a great supplement. It's a pity that, no matter it is my British world or One Punch world, he has no way to collect such pure power of heaven and earth. If Makarov were to look for him, Ye Qiu wouldn't even remember the fact that there was still the moon drop in Garner Island. Now that he remembered it, he would definitely use the moon drop to improve his own strength. When Ye Qiu quickly moved towards the purest direction of the moon's power on the island, he suddenly felt two incomparably cold auras colliding together. It looks like it has already started. Hey, Ye Qiu. Why are you here? No, it's better that you are here. Can you stop those two guys? If you let the demon Daliola out, there will be many innocent people by then unlucky. While watching the battle, Lucy, who was pulling Natsu, saw Ye Qiu who suddenly appeared beside him and rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Does this count as what you want? Just now, she was still thinking. The last time she met the devil, it was only with Ye Qiu that everything could be resolved smoothly in the end. If Ye Qiu's powerful helper was there, then this time the matter would definitely be resolved smoothly. You don't need to stop the two of them. If you want to fight, just keep fighting. Men, you always have to fight before you can resolve the knot in your heart. Ye Qiu didn't care at all about the battle between Gray and Leon. What pure moon spirit power, standing so close, his feeling became clearer and clearer. If he could integrate all those moon droplets into his body, the 7th level terror of Jiuyang Divine Art would be able to be cultivated to greatly complete. So sorry. Before releasing that huge monster, please help me collect a few more moon drops. Lucy was about to say something, but when she saw Ye Qiu's side, she directly rushed towards the group of guys who had summoned the magic circle and chanted words at the fastest speed. So fast. Everyone present was shocked by Ye Qiu's speed. On Leon's side, seeing that Ye Qiu seemed to know the boys like Gray, he naturally wouldn't let Ye Qiu go and let him cause any damage to the things he was about to accomplish. Ye Qiu, help me. Natsu, who was frozen into a ball over there, shouted to Ye Qiu helplessly. Ye Qiu randomly picked up a tiny flame in his hand and smashed it towards Natsu. So. The power of fire collided with the power of Bing. What Ye Qiu did not expect was that if it wasn't for the fact that there was a trace of 9 true qi in his flames, he would not even be able to leave any traces on the ice cube. This Leon is really strong. You can solve it yourself. The power of this ice cube is a bit strong, and I don't have time to help you for the time being. What? Ye Qiu, how can you? Boom. Before Natsu's voice completely fell, Leon directly used ice modeling magic to create a crystal-clear ice shield, blocking Ye Qiu's forward path. Don't think about the past. Kind of troublesome. Ye Qiu was too lazy to entangle with Leon and the others here, so he simply used the 9 true qi to the extreme. Vulcan-style dragon fights in the wild. A terrifying flame golden dragon instantly shattered the ice wall, blocking the way forward. Are you the legendary flame dragon slayer magician of the fairy tale? Let me, Yuka, experience your strength. Apparently seeing the terrifying oriental flame golden dragon, the Yoka sorcerer who used wave magic, had a bit of a misunderstanding of Ye Qiu's identity. Luo Wan, this guy is handed over to you. Is there any problem? Ye Qiu said without looking back. No problem. Just as Yuka rushed towards Ye Qiu, the figure of the wave spiral blocked between Ye Qiu and Yuka at the right time. Compared with the speed of Ye Qiu when he was running to catch the wind, the other people were indeed not as fast as Ye Qiu, but after they landed on the island, Ye Qiu didn't say that they would not be allowed to use their abilities. Helfubuki directly gave everyone an acceleration. With her acceleration and Fingxin's legs, the speed was not as slow as expected. At least the 4 girls were still behind Ye Qiu. Arrived at the point of conflict. There was another Toby who looked like a half-orc. He waved his claws and charged towards Ye Qiu again. This time, Ye Qiu didn't need to say anything. Hong Dongmei was already in front of him. He looked firmly at the opponent in front of him. Helfubuki and Ailu felt a little helpless at this time. They found helplessly that there seemed to be very few subordinates that Leon could see, which made them feel extremely headaches. If there is no opponent, wouldn't it be in vain? Fortunately, seeing that the person she secretly loves is in danger, Shirley directly summoned her pet Big Mouse, and Richka. In this way, it is exactly a 4-on-4 situation. On Gray's side, after Ye Qiu and the others appeared, the tension that had been tense finally relaxed a lot, and looked at Leon with a serious expression. Leon, it's too late to give up now. It's not the right choice to release Daliola. It will make Ulu's efforts go to waste. Gray, shut up for me. What right do you have to ask Ulu in front of me? Leon scolded, and the mighty ice-shaped magic attacked again. The wave magic on Yuka's side, after encountering the quirks of the wave scroll, it can be said that he met his opponent. Between the two of them, countless stones became shattered, and the surrounding scenes were shattered, and even had some influence. The masked people doing the ritual over there. As for Toby, who used poison, relying on his extremely fast speed, he wanted to harass Dongmei and carry out guerrilla tactics. It's a pity that Hong Dongmei is really an opponent he can't face. The instant cast Quirks of Ice makes the surrounding coldness not at all lower than that of Gray and Leon's battlefield, and even more infiltrating and biting, Toby's speed was reduced all of a sudden. As expected of Fairy Tail, these famous names have no way to correspond with the members of Fairy Tail, but their strength is incomparably powerful. It's just that no one can stop what I want to do, and I will never fail. Leon is very firm in his heart. He also believes in his partners. He believes that everyone who gathers together for the same goal can definitely realize the ideal in their hearts, to defeat the devil who is causing harm to the world, and to completely eliminate that devil. For flowers, Ye Qiu still admires people like Leon. Only, Leon has his own goals that he wants to accomplish no matter what, and Ye Qiu's side is the same. For Ye Qiu, he also wants to become stronger. As long as he keeps getting stronger, he can protect the people around him well, so he will not pass up any chance to become stronger. As for that demon, Daliola? Anyway, it's just a scum-level demon. Compared with those real demons, the demons in the fairy tale world are still not enough to watch. Ye Qiu thinks that Gray thinks too highly of Daliola's strength. It's just a shadowy memory of his childhood. If he were to choose, He would use his own strength to completely smash this nightmare from the front. Now, maybe Gray's strength is still somewhat insufficient, but by his side, he has gathered a group of very powerful partners, but he didn't realize it himself. Ye Qiu felt that it was not difficult to deal with mere Daliola. Leon believed in his partner, but his partner felt very troublesome at this moment. Too strong. Those wizards of fairy tale are simply too powerful for no reason. One is the wave power similar to Yuka, but in terms of power penetration, even Yuka's wave magic is much stronger. Another Toby, who can instantly cast freezing magic and has extremely flexible movements, is already tortured. He can use his speed to attack with poison, but the premise is that his speed is useful in front of the opponent, is now frozen and shivering, and the speed of action does not know how many times slower than usual. On the other side, Shirley herself and her pet mouse, Angelica, were also very anxious at this time. So sad. One is wind magic, and the other is fairy tale's S-rank magician, Elsa, the fairy queen. How do they fight? They are clearly looking for abuse. Little. With the help of 4 incomparably powerful teammates, he carried the flame of Jiuyang's infuriating energy and was not afraid of Leon's ice modeling magic. Ye Qiu rushed directly to the top of the condensed moon drop magic circle. In the horrified eyes of Leon and everyone else, Ye Qiu actually sat cross-legged in midair, absorbing all the moon drops that should have been supplied to Dalio into his own body. For a while, a faint silvery white light condensed on Ye Qiu's body, making him look extremely strange. Gray, stop that guy. No matter who he is, no matter how strong he is, the human body cannot forcefully absorb the moon drop. It will cause irreversible damage to the human body. Leon still has some conscience. It should be said that Leon's original intention is not bad. 897 just wants to use his own power to kill the demon who once destroyed his most admired teacher. Ye Qiu, who inexplicably poured out a group of powerful people, really made Leon very unhappy. He even wanted to rub the group of guys who had destroyed his plan on the ground, but he didn't think of it. People who crossed the fairy tale died here. Gray's body was also shocked, and he wanted to speak to stop it. Don't worry, Ye Qiu's strength is not the same as others. For you, completely irreversible energy, for him, is just a kind of energy for cultivation, and it can be absorbed. While suppressing the big mouse Angelica, Hellblow's Snow blew its unique and incomparable body odor in the direction of Leon's group, while explaining, "Don't disturb Ye Qiu. If you are cultivating internal skills, you are most afraid of being disturbed by external forces. Although she is cultivated to a very high level, this situation can be avoided, but she still does not want anyone to disturb Ye Qiu's cultivation. Is it just an energy? Who does he think he is?" Leon's heart was burning with anger, and subconsciously, he wanted to use the ice modeling magic to directly shoot down Ye Qiu, who was sitting cross-legged in the air, even if it would cause a little damage to Ye Qiu's body. It would be easier than directly. It is much better to absorb the moon drops. Only, when Leon's attack was about to reach Ye Qiu's side, a violent hurricane blew away Leon's ice magic. It's kind of interesting. Helfubuki showed a proud expression. "In front of me, if you want to touch our boss, you are too young. Don't look at Hell. Blowing Snow is only the #1 existence of B-level heroes, but she has an incomparably powerful elder sister, and she has learned a lot of abilities by following Ihan, an incomparably powerful pervert. And she is still at the beginning, has the power of an S-rank heroes." The ice flowers that were scattered in the sky, the picture is a bit beautiful. Ye Qiu was unmoved and directly turned the speed of Jiuyang divine art to the maximum, trying to absorb the most drops of the moon. The process of absorbing the moon drops was similar to what Ye Qiu had expected. When he was running the Jiuyang divine art, the purest and refined essence of the moon directly entered his body, turned into pure power, and was transformed into pure power. In the cycle of 1 week after another, he turned into the purest internal force. In the eyes of outsiders, Ye Qiu's expression was a little strange at this time. It seemed that he was influenced by the drop of the moon, and it seemed that he was not affected by the drop of the moon. "He will die," Leon growled. "I think too much. That guy is a little broken, and there are quite a few people who want him to die, But as far as I know, among all the people I have seen, the one who is least likely to die easily is this one. A guy stronger than Xiao Qiang's vitality. Helbuki sneered. Even a dragon-level monster like the Earth Dragon Elder could not cause the slightest trauma to Ye Qiu's body, let alone absorb the purest energy for cultivation. For Hellblow Snow, it is the most amazing thing in the world. She never thought that there is still a world in the world that can connect the sky and the earth, as well as the breath in her body, and continue to cultivate and grow. Law. Compared with their clumsy superpower cultivation method, the inner strength cultivation method seems to be more systematic and clear. At least after cultivating internal strength, Helfubuki can clearly feel that his superpower has increased a lot. Leon did not give up, but continued to use his ice magic to attack Ye Qiu in midair again and again. However, no matter what angle he attacked from, either he was blown away by Helfubuki's superpower, or he was directly blown away by the wave quirks of the wave spiral, and there was simply no angle that could succeed. In the face of the psychic control wind and the spiraling quirks, Leon is really powerful and can't make it awkward. When Leon was trembling with fear, Ye Qiu's absorption of the moondrop was getting faster and faster. Not only did his complexion not change at all, it was even covered with a faint fiery red, and his breath was not disturbed at all. It's amazing! I can feel that Ye Qiu's breath seems to have become much stronger. Natsu looked surprised. He couldn't be more sensitive to the power of the fire element. Ye Qiu's current aura was much stronger than what he had felt before, and there was even one feel too strong. Natsu's fist was tightly clenched, and now the target he wanted to challenge was no longer Urza, but made Urza a lot stronger in a short period of time, even in terms of firepower. He felt the amazed Ye Qiu. Perhaps, defeating a person with the same type of strength is the best challenge for him. Isn't the moon of the moon extremely harmful to humans if it is absorbed directly? Could it be that that guy is not human like the inhabitants of the island? 3.8. Leon, who was astonished in his heart, had such an idea in an instant. He did not feel that any ordinary human being could resist the terrifying erosive power of the moondrop. The power to erase them all. However, the power of the moondrop is indeed enormous. After all, the essence of the moon has been purified infinitely through magic, and even if Ye Qiu is running the Jiuyang divine art with all his strength, he still cannot eat it. So domineering. Ye Qiu, who felt that he had reached the pinnacle, no longer competed for the power of the moondrop, but instead observed all the battles in the arena with great interest. Similar to what he expected, even if the power system of the fairy tale world is on the high side, the girls of Helfubuki can easily face any magician below the S-rank magician. Are you a devil? For those demons created by the evil wizard Zelf, the wine of the moon will definitely not hurt. Leon still couldn't accept it. If Ye Qiu was a human, why could he absorb the moondrop? Maybe this is a demon that can be transformed into a human form. After all, the abilities of those demons have always been very strange, and I don't know if there will be any demons of this ability. I am monster? Ye Qiu suddenly laughed. Maybe. Compared to some villains, Ye Qiu feels that sometimes he really deserves the title of devil. Is it really the devil? Everyone on Leon's side was shocked, and they did not continue to fight with the girls and Helfubuki for a while. Instead, they carefully gathered around Leon, staring at Ye Qiu with extreme vigilance, in case he suddenly transformed things like that happen. Gray and the others were very speechless. How could Ye Qiu be a demon? However, the ability is a little weird. Anyway, it is the existence of the magic carriage that can use the legs to match the shoulders. No matter how magical it is, there is nothing surprising. The things that should be surprised, they have already been surprised. By the way, do you want to release Daliola? Ye Qiu asked casually. What you up to? Leon looked at Ye Qiu in confusion. Ye Qiu smiled. Since you all said that I am a demon, then as a demon, I naturally want to rescue my companions. You are too slow to use the moondrop method, or else let me help you. Ye Qiu, don't be impulsive. I know that your strength is very strong, but you have no idea how terrifying the strength of those demons created by Jerf, even S-rank mages. Can't beat those demons. Gray gritted his teeth and almost didn't rush up to fight Ye Qiu. Ye Qiu was a little speechless. It was considered that he had been bitten by a snake for 10 years and was afraid of the rope. In Gray's heart, the power of those demons had been invisibly magnified, even if he had just defeated a demon. What an S-class wizard can't do doesn't mean I can't do it either, but don't underestimate me. The ********D, it's not a question of whether to underestimate or not. I've never underestimated you, and I know that you are much stronger than me, but if you don't kill Daliola, it will only make you more powerful. So many innocent people have been hit hard. What you said is good. But have you ever thought that even without the influence of the moon cave, the seal will disappear sooner or later? Once the seal disappears completely, it will be time to deal with the devil's problem? This in the world, there are still many wizards who can solve these demon problems once and for all, but they all failed for various reasons. Since they have the strength, why not deal with the demons when they have the ability? Are there none of the mages after you who can outshine the blue and surpass the blue? Ye Qiu stood in the air, his Zanpakutō suddenly slashed towards the frozen monster below. No. Gray closed his eyes reluctantly. Even Leon, who had been expecting all this for a long time, had some inexplicable feeling in his heart at this time, and he did not expect that the most crucial final step would be completed by Gray's little b****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** How conceited is this, to feel that he can deal with Daliola alone? However, Leon smiled. At least from the strength that Ye Qiu and the strength shown by his partners, he knew that this was a magician who was not weaker than himself. As for what magic he used, yes, it's hard to draw a conclusion for now. He agreed with that. He has the ability to deal with these demons, but instead he wants to let them fall into the seal blindly. If the power of the seal really fails, then who will deal with demons like Daliola? Therefore, even if Ye Qiu releases Daliola, or even loses to Daliola, he will fight against Daliola without hesitation and win the final battle. Daliola, this is his prey. Arudia, who had been in disguise all the time, was in a very complicated mood at this time, and she did not expect that a person with great strength and mysteriousness suddenly jumped out of a perfect plan. Who is this person? Based on the multiple sources of information in Arudia, they did not have the slightest understanding of a sorcerer with such a powerful strength as Ye Qiu. Appears out of nowhere. That's right, Ye Qiu seems like a person who appeared out of nowhere. Roar! Daliola's voice broke through the sky, and in a split second, everyone seemed to really feel that the demon that once destroyed countless people's homes began to recover again. Ming, it seems that because of my help, this demon who lifted the seal in advance has completely retained the last bit of vitality, but I don't know that this vitality can't make me exercise more happily. If it is too weak, it will be meaningless. In fact, because of the special effect of Zanpakutō, it wasn't just the demon Daliola who recovered at this time. The special spiritual pressure that only Ye Qiu could feel was gradually condensed from the underground cave. Gray and Leon should thank me? Why is Diarilla alive? Why am I alive too? In the cave, Ulu, whose eyes were still dazed, looked at the Death Tyrant outfit and was about to find someone to complain about it. I will answer your question later, but I released Daliola, and I also rescued you from that forbidden magic. Ye Qiu fell directly into the cave. I looked at Ulu, who was wearing a Death Tyrant outfit. The spiritual pressure is very powerful, and it is indeed a magician who can seal Daliola alone. Even if the power temporarily turns into a death mode, its inner breath and potential are still very powerful. Wait, you said you released Dalio. Ulu, with short black hair, was full of heroism when he spoke angrily, but he had a temperament that Ye Qiu had never seen before. Yeah, even if I don't let it go, your apprentice Leon will let Daliola out. I use my own plan to let Daliola out, and you can still live. If you use Leon's method to release that demon, what kind of result you will have, I think you should know very well. Absolutely freezing, no joke. Maybe I can't say you're still alive now. Didn't survive? Ulu didn't quite understand Ye Qiu's words. At least she didn't feel any difference between herself and normal people. The only thing that changed was that she had inexplicably a dress that she had never seen before. Speaking of which, this dress is a little nicer. Cough cough. That bad habit is coming again. Ulu's hand was already on the Death Tyrant outfit, and he almost couldn't help his hand and did some irreversible things. The corners of Ye Qiu's mouth twitched. His temperament was indeed different, and this special habit was completely different. Fortunately, this one is not the same as Gray. Gray's habit has simply magnified Ulu's habits countless times, and has been able to achieve the level of mosaic without knowing it. Let's go out to meet your two disciples, both of which have not been seen for so many years. You must also want to meet. Of course, there is a special guest. Ye Qiu was still looking forward to what kind of expression Lucia would have when she saw Ulu. However, the more important thing now is to fight with Daliola. This kind of demon is still worth studying. At least we need to collect some samples and let the guy from Kenos see. For the research on genetic medicine, it is not a bit helpful. Go. Ye Qiu didn't care whether Ulu was still sighing. He grabbed her by the shoulders and flew her out of the cave. Leon and Gray, these two brothers who were not friends, were the two people who knew Zeriola the best, and they were also the few survivors of that disaster. Now that monster has been resurrected again, and the memory in the bottom of my heart is gradually recovering, but no matter whether their opinions were unified or not, they are now catalyzing the magic power in the body with all their strength, using the magic of ice shape and constantly creating for Daliola obstacles to progress. On the other hand, the heroes from Ye Qiu's office were not so eager to attack. Instead, they were observing Daliola's strength. They knew themselves and their enemies, and they would not be in danger in 100 battles. Before causing too much damage, they should first observe the strength of their opponents. As for the danger, with the monster-like strength of Ye Qiu, they are not worried at all. Huh? Ye Qiu, I really didn't read you wrong. You said you were going to travel to other worlds, but in fact you are the girl who came to kidnap the girl. Fubuki glanced at Ye Qiu with some contempt. How long has it been since then, Ye Qiu? This be *********** D has another girl with outstanding looks and temperament next to him, which is really maddening. Speaking of which, as one of the bosses of the Fubuki Hero's office, Fubuki thinks that his appearance is not bad, and he doesn't know why Ye Qiu's eyes are always on other girls. Humph. If it wasn't for learning his amazing ability, I wouldn't have wronged myself and be the manager of your hero's firm. Fubuki comforted himself. Ye Qiu was a little speechless. He was just looking for new members of the firm. The hero's firm, always needed many different power systems to be able to face the hero's missions with different needs in each world. How strong is that big guy? Ye Qiu didn't refute Fubuki. Fubuki's expression immediately became serious. The strength of that big guy is definitely beyond your imagination. He definitely has the strength of S-rank heroes, and he is still the strongest among them. According to my estimation, if according to the strength you showed before may not be that guy's opponent. The most important thing is that the guy's life aura seems to be constantly growing, and with the strength of his life aura, his strength is also constantly changing. Powerful. Remnant? This is interesting. I didn't expect that because of my reasons Daliola, the undead calamity monster, not only failed to die, but also gradually recovered in strength. Ye Qiu is very satisfied with this result. It just so happened that the terrifying energy of the drop of the moon just now made him practice the first level of Jiuyang divine art to a state of great perfection, and he can start practicing the 7th level of Jiuyang divine art. 72 changes, creation. In Ye Qiu's hand, just like when he was fighting with Urza before, a secret book appeared in an instant, and his eyes swept through the secret book very quickly. The incomparably surging Ninyang true qi revolved in the body along the 7th level Yugong route, and the trace of qi and blood deficiency brought about by running quirks was quickly replenished, and even that qi and blood ratio was used. Before the quirks, there was a lot more to fill. Stronger again. Urza looked at Ye Qiu with some envy. Before cultivating inner strength, she felt that Ye Qiu was just like an ordinary person, but after cultivating inner strength, Irusa has clearly understood that the more her inner strength practice reaches the perfect level, the more restrained her breath will be, as if they are like them. Like the guild's president, Makarov, he clearly has the power of the 10th level and usually looks like an ordinary wretched little old man. Humph. I know that I secretly become stronger. Fubuki muttered, a little aggrieved. Compared to other people, the actual manager of her firm, she doesn't spend as much time cultivating as she imagined, and Ye Qiu doesn't teach her some powerful abilities. All are surpassed. Hung Dongmei is more admirable. With Ye Qiu's current age, he is already so powerful, but he has no intention of stopping at all. He is still trying to make himself stronger through various methods. As for the fluctuation spiral, alas, there is no way to say anything more. Anyway, that be D consultant, relying on his own identity, has been bullying her weak and beautiful girl. Now, Qian Nuozho, the big villain consultant, has become stronger again. She can only be low-key, and when her strength becomes stronger than that big villain, she will find all the places back. Let me meet this so-called demon. I have never seen a real demon. The one who was defeated by Natsu and you guys last time seems to be too weak. This big guy is a bit good enough. While speaking, Ye Qiu's figure was like an arrow from the string, rushing towards Daliola quickly. Vulcan style, Dharma phase world. With the burning fruit ability, Ye Qiu quickly turned into an incomparably tall flame giant under the envelope of flames. The 7th level of Jiuyang Divine Art, Ye Qiu has also improved this move, directly making the world of the Dharma look like Susanoo of the Kaleidoscope Shaker, making the flame completely his own weapon so that he can get rid of it. When manipulating the heaven and earth, the body may be in danger of being attacked. Fire magic? Have I slept a little longer? When, in this world, there is a kid who is as powerful as fire magic, and this level is at least an S-level wizard. Wulu was not in a hurry to take action. From the time she woke up to now, she has discovered something different. For example, there is indeed a power in her body that can make her stronger at any time, but what she has practiced before magic, but no longer exists. As for how to manipulate that potential power, Ulu doesn't know without anyone's guidance. Boom! Ye Qiu's flame Dharma image directly blocked Daliola's progress. Daliola's promotion to a demon is indeed the most powerful magical product in this world. With its immortality, the physical strength is very terrifying. Ordinary flames, even if condensed into a Dharma image, can't stop the devil's footsteps, but Ye Qiu's flame Dharma image has a faint golden light all over his body. Power in flames. For any magician, it is unimaginable to use the power of the body to fight the terrifying existence of the devil, even if it focuses on the cultivation of the body on weekdays and turns the body into a sharp weapon. But Ye Qiu did it. 897. The children of today are really amazing. It seems that this is an era of magic that I don't understand at all. Ulu looked at Ye Qiu's golden flame Dharma with some emotion. As everyone knows, since the moment she appeared, Arudia's eyes in disguise were directly locked on her, and that familiar face also aroused memories of Gray and Leon's childhood. Impossible, there is only one consequence of the absolute freezing. Even if I use the secret method to use the moon drop to dissolve the magic power of the forbidden magic, it is impossible for people to come back to life. It must be that you use special a man whose face has been changed by life magic. Leon stared at Ulu in amazement, his hands shaking a little bit. Gray told you me, I said he wasn't wrong? Gray's situation is not much better than that of Leon. Such a scene has appeared in his dreams countless times. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a nightmare. The last relatives, and even the brothers and sisters, turned against each other. But now, when he came back, that face with a somewhat cold temperament was someone he would never forget in his life. When he was a child, he used to hide in the corner of the fairy tale union countless times and cry secretly, but he never thought that he would grow up. When I grow up, I see that person again. Obviously, although Ulu still remembers her 2 disciples, she has always been a little nervous. Obviously, she has not thought about what her 2 disciples will look like when they grow up, so even if she feels these 2, some people are familiar, and she did not guess that the 2 young people were her former disciples. I should not admit wrong. It is her, she is Ulu. Others may not be able to resurrect him, this miraculous thing, but if it is that man, it is impossible to say, From his appearance from the moment of fairy tale, there are countless miracles. Gray's voice was a little excited. It's Ulu. Absolutely Ulu. No matter who is wrong, Gray doesn't think he will admit Ulu wrong. A man who can absorb the moon drop that digests magic power into his body, maybe he can really bring miracles. You are. Ulu looked at the two somewhat familiar faces and asked with some doubts. Because Ye Qiu entered the state of battle for the first time, and Ulu was familiar with the surrounding environment and did not notice the ice modeling magic released by the two in the jungle just now. Gray and Leon looked at each other. Since Ulu asked about their identities, let's tell Ulu who they are in the simplest and most familiar way. Ice shape magic. The magic power of the weapon quickly condensed and formed in the air, and an incomparably huge ice shield greeted an incomparably sharp ice spear. Boom! The impact of the two caused ice and snow fragments to float in the sky. Ulu was stunned for a moment, and then laughed happily. I see, it turns out that those two hairy boys have grown so big. Don't worry, I still remember you. Don't look at you with that grievance expression. You're Gray, you're Leon, right? Compared to the warm picture of master and apprentice recognizing each other, the battle on Ye Qiu's side was a little more intense. It was a little bit to simply want to live with the demon of Daliola with the power of the dragon and elephant. Barely. Hey, Urza, don't stop me. Some time ago, the demon named Lullaby was defeated by a few of us together. Ye Qiu is obviously not the opponent of that demon. We'll be implicated. Natsu muttered in dissatisfaction. It is a pity that Natsu, who has not entered the rampant mode, obviously cannot be Urza's opponent. Urza does not let him take action, so he can only choose to be a spectator. Don't worry, that little villain Ye Qiu won't be defeated so easily. That's how he exerted 30% of his strength. That so-called demon, that is, his body is a little stronger. Most of your magic can't hurt it. Helfabuki said bluntly. 30% strength? It's already so strong, and the flames are still emitting golden light. If you want to continue, you have to consume a lot of magic power. Even an S-rank magician can't bear it. All things are scattered, all will be turned to ashes. Those undead monsters in the world have no reason to be immortal before the god of death. Ye Qiu held a single empty grip, and the flowing blade Ruohuo exuded a terrifying aura immediately began to dissolve, and the hand of the flame Dharma also extended a huge and incomparably long flaming sword. Take it. Song Ming. The flame Dharma immediately drew the knife, mixed with the power of burning fruit, the power of dragon elephant, and the flame knife gas of spiritual pressure, and instantly wrapped Daliola. Cut in two. That terrifying body that could not be completely destroyed by absolute freezing was directly wiped out by Ye Qiu. The dragon elephant carries a trace of the power of the Buddha, plus the power of the god of death. It has a terrifying lethality to this undead demon. As long as Ye Qiu can continue to become stronger, the power to deal with this attribute will occupy absolute power. Score. Ye Qiu, who lifted the flame Dharma and slowly fell from the sky, looked strangely at the melon-eating crowd with completely different expressions. Isn't that killing a demon? What are the expressions of these one by one? If you don't have any problems, this island will be our hero's office in the future. Absorbing the power of Weiwa here can effectively improve the cultivation efficiency of internal energy. For our group of people, it is a paradise. Obviously, Ye Qiu was very interested in this slightly mysterious island. Inner strength? Isn't it youth magic? Ye Qiu, is your cultivation method different from ours? Natsu was very curious and approached Ye Qiu. It is indeed not magic. Compared with magic, the explosive power of our cultivation is not so great. However, long-term cultivation can improve one's own physical quality, which is much higher than your blind battle efficiency, and can also prolong life. Compared with magic, the practice of internal skills is indeed not so effective, and in terms of the power of the moves, it is simply that 10 internal skills practitioners can't stand up to one magic practitioner. Do you have a Dragon Slayer practice? Natsu was a little excited. He didn't listen to the words of slow cultivation and so on. Instead, he took Ye Qiu's incomparably domineering performance in his heart. Think about it, if he can also turn into a flame giant and cast dragon-slaying magic. No. He didn't want a flame giant to turn into a flame dragon, so the dragon-slaying magic displayed in that way was perfect. There must be no dragon slayer internal power, and the power I just displayed was not born out of internal power, but another power system. But that kind of power system does not need to be cultivated, you can have it when you get it. There are actually other power systems, even Urza, staring at Ye Qiu with a strange look at this time, wondering how many cultivation methods this man has hidden. If it's Gardener Island, I'll take it with a smile. There shouldn't be any opinions here, right? Ye Qiu's eyes swept across everyone, especially the guy who changed from Arutia. Leon's group, Ye Qiu is not worried at all. The only thing that needs to be paid attention to is that the concept has not changed. For the time being, it still belongs to Yorusha, the heart of the devil. The ghost knows that after this woman returns to the Magic Council, will it give him any trouble? By the way, Mr. Sarudalai, your research on the moon drop seems to be very profound. I think it is necessary for us to talk about it. I am very interested in the moon drop now. Ye Qiu's eyes narrowed slightly, directly draped over Sarudalai's shoulders. At this time, Arutia, who was disguised as Sarudalai, wanted to avoid Ye Qiu's hand, but that hand seemed to follow her, directly sealing all the spaces where she could dodge. After changing his body shape, his strength was still greatly affected. Of course, even if Yorusha didn't disguise, she didn't feel that her strength in her heyday could pose any threat to Ye Qiu. Don't worry, I won't expose your identity now, and I won't force you to recognize Ulu. Ye Qiu directly used voice transmission to enter the secret, and his voice was only heard by Arutia. Sure enough, after hearing Ye Qiu's words, Arutia almost didn't act directly. She didn't understand at all why Ye Qiu could see through her identity so easily. Who the hell is this guy? When I return to the Magic Council, I must ask that guy Gerald to check this man named Ye Qiu. If this terrifying existence that can block Daliola cannot be solved, not only will Urza, whom Gerard valued, be taken away, but many of her future opportunities will also be destroyed. Taking Arutia into the corner, Ye Qiu simply revealed her identity directly. Arutia, let's talk straight to the point. The many qualities and abilities you possess, including the knowledge you know, are of great value to me. Who are you? Why do you know who I am? Arutia hid under the mask, and her changed face was full of horror. He did not know how many times he had used this kind of disguise to carry out missions. Even at the 10th level, the sorcerer had never seen through her disguise. Who am I? That's a good question, and I'd be happy to answer you. Actually, I'm a heroes, and of course it's not the kind of high-sounding term you're talking about. This is a profession. I have my own heroes office, and I will accept heroes tasks in any time and space. Of course, we will receive a certain reward for each task, and this time the reward I am looking at is Gana Urdeo and you. For flowers. This should be regarded as teaching them the Fubuki Heroes Office, the first time to perform a cross-world heroes mission. Compared with the cash reward in the original world, he needs more resources at this time, so that each heroes of the firm becomes stronger. I don't know what you're talking about. Besides, any island is not private property to the kingdom. Even if you want to take this island as your own, it's impossible to escape the eyes of the Magic Council. The entire kingdom of Fiori will send wizards to encircle you. First of all, no one in the fairy tale magic guild will betray me. If anyone really betrays me, then only you, Arutia. So, if you're ready to bear my wrath, just tell the Magic Council about it and let them send people around me. Ye Qiu added. My power is related to the new cultivation system, which is a system that everyone can cultivate, even if you don't have any magic aptitude. Of course, I have a lot more valuable and useful to you here. If you want, we can make some transactions. Don't you call yourself heroes? Would heroes do this kind of deal? Or with someone like me? Why not? What kind of person are you? You can't even judge yourself. After all, your life is not over, and it is not the time for others to judge you. How to evaluate you and advise you to choose what kind of road? I'm not interested in this kind of thing at all. What I need is you to help me condense the moon drop, and I need to be faster and wider. Agglomeration. This was within Arutia's expectations. After all, Ye Qiu's way of absorbing the moon drops shocked her a lot. She never thought that any magician would dare to use his physical body to absorb the suitable of the moon. If you think about it now, it should be because the cultivation system is different. By the way, I still need you to build the magic wizard power. Of course, I don't need to charge any magic weapons. All I need is to charge myself. I want to try. I cannot absorb magic power. This guy even knows the magic power. Ye Qiu's words still terrified Urrutia. Sure enough, it was the same as his combat power. Do you know what magic wizard power is? Even if you are an S-rank mage, you are not qualified to possess magic wizard power, and you don't have the resources to create it. Lucia sneered. Ye Qiu pondered slightly. Accurately speaking, I don't need the magic power, just the magic power of the magic power. For someone like me who likes to fight, it is very likely to be a good logistical supply. So what I need is just that huge magic power, the magic crystal you made. I think it is good. Urrutia was startled, and as the chat deepened, Ye Qiu brought more and more panic to her. However, for Ye Qiu's proposals, she was still interested in what kind of valuable items this magical man could offer, which was very attractive to Urrutia. 897. Let's not talk about what you want to trade from me. I can't look at the chips you can come up with. After all, every trading item you propose is sky-high. There is no reason not to let me know about you first. Where the foundation lies. Urrutia's mood quickly calmed down. After all, she was a woman of calamity level. This kind of small scene can still be managed. Ye Qiu didn't have any unexpected deals. This kind of thing was about your love and my wishes. If he didn't even ask for it, he felt that the woman didn't really want to deal with him. You can get the cultivation method from me, which is completely different from the magic cultivation method. Of course, you may think that those training methods are not worth the price. I can also provide some other items, such as items that can help you quickly improve your magic power or let you directly get an ability. I'm very interested in the ability to transform into a flame giant or kill Daliola. If you can provide me with all these abilities, I don't mind the idea of playing the magic wizard power for you. What type? You say a specific type, and I can give it to you. Ye Qiu's answer caught Urrutia by surprise. She thought that her lion's mouth would make Ye Qiu start bargaining, but she didn't expect that this young man would agree to her so decisively. I need to be immune to physical damage like you, and be able to cast a wide range of moves, with similar power to magical attacks. Of course, it would be better if I could have the ability to recover. I don't like that violent fighting style too much, and never thought of fighting a demon like Daliola on the front. Urrutia pondered for a moment, and then said all her requests. Ye Qiu gave her a deep look. You really know how to choose abilities. Those abilities are unique abilities, and you have to combine them all together. You really want to embarrass me. It's difficult? If you think you can't do it, then forget it. Not all mages can do things like gathering moon droplets. Urrutia said something unintentionally. It's too embarrassing. But I hope you will think about it and join my hero's firm. I'm pretty good at such a smart person like you. Just wait for me, I'll give you what you want right now. Ye Qiu didn't care that his abilities were exposed in front of Urrutia. He directly held the prepared hair and activated his quirks. After a faint light, a mysterious light appeared in his hand. Fruit of the breath. Phoenix fruit. After thinking about it for a long time, Ye Qiu finally felt that the phoenix fruit was the most suitable for Urrutia's request. The phoenix fruit is one of the 5 zoan fruits that can fly. When the opponent's attack causes damage, the resurrected blue flame surrounds the wound and then regenerates, which can nullify the attack. It's just that regeneration has a certain limit, and when it is injured to a certain extent, it will die even in the state of fruit. It can increase the speed, and has the ability to fly. It can be said to be one of the strongest zoan fruits. An interesting ability. Urrutia likes to study imitations in more exotic directions. She is still very interested in Ye Qiu's ability to create things out of thin air, or to extract items from other spaces. If she knew in advance that Ye Qiu has this ability, not to mention the demands made are not what they were before. Eat this fruit and you will be able to get the ability you want. Ye Qiu handed the phoenix's devil fruit to Urrutia's eyes. Urrutia, who took the fruit, looked at the devil fruit with a unique shape and looked like a fruit in her hands. Even though she had a lot of knowledge, She had never seen such a peculiar fruit. How would I know if this fruit is poisonous? Do you want to kill people? I think you even know the waste crystal, and you should be very clear about my follow-up plan. Urrutia was not in a hurry to eat the devil fruit in her hands. The consumption of creating a devil fruit is not low. Even if the 9-yang divine art reaches the 7th level, the consumption is still a bit large, and the hair appears a little gray. If you don't want to eat it, then you can give it back to me. Anyway, for me, it's not particularly important to complete this transaction. I just want to do a test. If you don't cooperate, I can give this fruit. Other people. Ye Qiu didn't care at all. The mouth area. Urrutia ate it, and the bite was very neat. Don't vomit, I forgot to remind you, devil fruit has a very special taste, but as long as you take a bite, it will be effective, don't spit it out. Ye Qiu looked at Urrutia, who was so disgusted that he couldn't even sustain transformation magic. This woman was too calm, and he felt bad about bargaining. Ye Qiu didn't think that this woman would be so decisive when eating devil fruit, and he forgot to remind her about the taste of devil fruit. There was indeed a force that entered his body, and Urrutia, who practiced magic, could clearly feel that magical force. You did it on purpose. Urrutia, who had regained her true face, glared at Ye Qiu fiercely. She swears that the fruit that looks very interesting is the worst thing she has ever eaten in her life. No. I really didn't do it on purpose, it's just that your movements are quicker. Also, devil fruit has side effects. After eating it, it will be discarded by the sea. If you encounter a lot of seawater, your power will be completely lost. Urrutia is completely speechless. This mysterious little devil is trying to kill her. Once this weakness is known to others, if she directly uses the water magician, she will be completely passive, and even the slightest fighting ability will no longer exist. Don't worry, this fruit called Phoenix has the ability to fly. Even if you encounter an opponent you can't face, as long as you use the fruit ability to leave, the opponent won't be able to keep you. Ye Qiu said with a relaxed expression. You can now familiarize yourself with the ability of the fruit. This ability called devil fruit is much stronger than you think. Urrutia had already determined that Ye Qiu did it on purpose, but she was still looking forward to the rakido of the phoenix fruit. After all, they have the ability to fly. Even among the wizards, there are very few wizards who really have the ability to fly. Obviously, even if she felt the power of the phoenix fruit, Urrutia still didn't have many ways to display it quickly. After all, the power of devil fruit had never appeared in her cognition. 12. Forget it. Looking at your appearance, you can't master the power of devil fruit in a short time, then I'll help you. As soon as the voice fell, Ye Qiu's figure appeared beside Urrutia. Feeling a trace of killing intent, Urrutia subconsciously wanted to cast magic, but unfortunately, the speed of casting magic was far less than Ye Qiu's attack speed. One-finger Zen broken. With the one-fingered Zen of domineering Jiuyang's true energy, he ripped through Urrutia's shoulder without any hesitation. Yes, Urrutia, who has regained her original appearance, is obviously an uncompromising beauty, but Ye Qiu's attack is so merciless. It hurts. Urrutia stared at Ye Qiu with her beautiful big eyes. She knew that this B***************** D just did it on purpose. What deal? It was clearly ready to kill her. Don't get excited. I just tried devil fruit's abilities for you. I don't believe you can see the wound for yourself. Ye Qiu spoke quickly. Urrutia was ready to go all out, but she saw that her wound was wrapped in a blue flame. Not even a single scar remained. Even if Jiuyang true qi passed through the body, causing a small part of the internal injury, with the help of Qing'en, it gradually recovered completely. What an amazing ability! What a powerful resilience! Even Urrutia has to admit that the power called devil fruit ability hidden in his body is very high in both potential and online. Very profitable. Very profitable. Looking at your appearance, I am also very satisfied with the ability I have given you. Since you are satisfied, I think the transaction between us can go on. At least for me, the manufacture of moon drops, should I continue? If possible, could you collect the moon droplets and turn them into storable entities? Let the moon drop become a substance? Speaking of the moon drop, it is a name, and it mainly gathers a large amount of the essence of the moon. This essence of the moon can dissolve the powerful magic, but after all, it is the same as the magic. It is an invisible existence, which can only be pulled by magic circle. It is possible, but not so easy. This idea is really as bold as you directly absorbing the power of the moon drop with your human body. Arudia gave Ye Qiu a deep look. Ye Qiu spread his hands indifferently. It's just energy, whether it's magic power or the moon drop that you provide to Leon and the others to dissolve the magic power. They can be absorbed and turned into their own strength, as long as you find the right method. It can be said that, facing a mysterious man like Ye Qiu, Arudia's heart suddenly jumped. She thought of a person who, with the same mystery, also did countless inexplicable things. That is Jeff, the legendary existence in the magic world, the only strong man in the history of magic, whose name is almost called forbidden language by later generations, the ancestor of the black magician. The thought of this name made Arudia feel a chill down her spine. It is better to provoke this kind of person less. The plan of the magic crystal side is to discuss with him first, but the problem of the moon drop, help this guy to solve it and gain his trust. No problem. I'll stay here for 3 days. I think 3 days should be enough. No one has been able to do it before because they never thought about it and never wanted to get in touch. Moondrop is a dangerous being, Arudia confessed. However, during these 3 days, she still had to change her appearance. After all, she still wouldn't admit that woman. Do you need me to speak to Ulu? Ye Qiu asked casually. How dare you say it? Arudia stared at Ye Qiu. Although I don't know where you know so much about me. But if you let me know, tell that woman about me, we may not even have the slightest cooperation. What you said, after all, she is your mother. Moreover, she is also a qualified magician. Without her, Daliola would not know how many people's lives would be harmed. 897. Ye Qiu sighed. But she ruined my home. A trace of resentment flashed in Arudia's eyes, but it quickly subsided. Forget it, I don't need to tell you these things. I don't need you to worry about my affairs. I will complete the cooperation between us, but you want you to remember that we only have a cooperative relationship. Ye Qiu nodded. I respect your opinion. How is your relationship with Ulu? It has nothing to do with me, but I will develop Ulu to become a member of our office. If you have ideas in the future, you can come to me, and I'll reserve a place for you. You want me to join your association? Arudia looked at Ye Qiu with a half-smile. Ye Qiu corrected, it's not an association, it's an office. As for the specific business of our office and the scope of activities, you won't know until you join. What about Jeff or those giant dragons that disappeared? For me, it is a small matter. As long as you join the firm, you will see more power than devil fruit. Are there any unknown places in the world that I don't know about? Arudia is a little moved. She has never seen any information about devil fruit. At least from the current point of view, the magic of the power of the phoenix fruit is no less than the magic of dragon slaying. Joining that so-called firm should have no conflict with any forces she joined. But now is not the time to join. Arudia plans to use these 3 days to take a good look at the mysterious character Ye Qiu. If he can learn more about his hidden secrets, he might join that firm would be a good choice. I think it's better to study the topic of making the moon drop into a physical existence first. 3 days are not much time, so I will start the study now. If you can, please don't disturb me. No problem, I won't disturb you. Ye Qiu turned around and left. After the deal was reached, the rest was to deal with the problems on Ulu's side. I believe that she should have communicated a lot with her 2 apprentices for so long. Urza, you take the rambunctious guys from the Fairy Tale Guild first, and go back to deliver the mission. I still have a few things to deal with here. After returning to the guild, can I still come here? Urza looked at Ye Qiu with some anticipation. She is naturally very aware of the power of the moon drop, which has great damage to magic power, but for other mages, this is a great danger, but not for Ye Qiu. If she can also use the moon drop to cultivate like Ye Qiu, her strength should be improved very fast, and she can achieve her goal earlier. No problem. This place is originally a training place for inner strength practitioners, and my goal is to transform the moon drop into pure energy that is most suitable for inner strength practitioners to absorb. Ye Qiu nodded. What is inner strength? It sounds very magical. Can I practice together? Natsu looked at Ye Qiu expectantly. Ye Qiu nodded. No problem. I can leave a few exercises for inner strength cultivation in the Fairy Tale Guild, but not everyone can cultivate successfully, and you are talented in magic cultivation. Also, there is no need to focus on the cultivation of inner strength. As long as you follow a path to the end, you will still become the strongest. Teaching Urza to practice internal strength is purely because of the limitations of dressing magic. The equipment that Urza possesses is indeed very powerful, and each set of equipment combined with the physical skills she has cultivated for so many years is indeed enough to form an S-rank magician's combat power. But on the whole, magic has helped her to improve her strength very little. For Urza, if she cultivates her internal strength, her combat power will definitely be improved to a great extent. However, for other people in Fairy Tale, internal strength may not be suitable for their cultivation. After all, like Natsu and Gray, they use elemental magic as the basis for their cultivation, and their internal strength is very limited. I want to practice internal strength. I want to defeat Urza. However, Ye Qiu felt that his words seemed to be in vain. At least for a single-celled creature like Natsu, it was of no use at all. This guy was already very excited, and he began to expect that after he had cultivated his internal skills, he would do a lot to Urza. Hanged and became the strongest wizard in the Fairy Tale Guild. Ye Qiu shook his head helplessly and walked to the side of Master and Apprentice Gray. Thank you, Ye Qiu, Gray and Leon said in unison. Ulu also looked at Ye Qiu with a strange expression. When was the kid so strong? Thinking back to when she trained Gray and Leon when she was a child, the talents of these two kids are top-notch, but in Ye Qiu with such a terrifying strength, it is simply impossible. However, absorbing the drop of the moon, killed Daliola with one knife and even pulled his own life, which was impossible to save, from the brink of death. Horrible. Ulu's mood at this time was no different from her daughter Yerusha. After a vertical comparison, Ulu also felt that Ye Qiu was a mysterious young man like Jerf, possessing the same power that was enough to change the entire magic world. You don't have to thank me. I saved Ulu, not because of your reasons. The main reason is that I want to play against the devil, and the strength of Ulu is very strong. I still look forward to it. Ulu joins our office. Huh? Office? Is it a new magic guild? But I used to be a bit strong, but now I don't feel the existence of magic power. If I want to restore magic power, I have to practice again. Your magic guild, I've seen all of the members of the group. All of them are beautiful, and they are all very powerful. Is it a bit inappropriate for my age? Ulu showed a bright smile indifferently. Ye Qiu waved his hand. You really don't have magic power now, but in your body, there is a new power. As long as you exert this new power, it will never be more. How weak are you? New power? There is power, but how to use it? Ulu looked at Ye Qiu in confusion. Gray interrupted Ye Qiu's words. I think it would be better for Ulu to join us in Fairy Tale. With President Makarov here, she will definitely regain her strength soon. Humph. What's the use of following you? I still think Ulu should follow me. Leon snorted in disapproval. Ulu smiled helplessly. She really didn't expect that it's only been more than 10 years since she left. The two guys who had a very good relationship when they were young, but now they get along so awkwardly. As expected, it's better not to follow these two apprentices. She doesn't want to watch this pair of troubles every day. The children have grown up and don't need her shelter. I joined your guild. As for how to use the new power, please give me more advice in the future. Ulu said after thinking carefully. Correct, I'm not running a magic guild. None of our members can use magic, and of course there will be in the future. I can teach you new powers now, but you'd better not resist. After all, Ye Qiu's hand, the flowing blade Ruahua, appeared again. For Ulu to awaken the power of the god of death, the best way is to let her experience the power of the god of death herself. Wait, what are you going to do? Qian Nuozho, Gray's eyelids twitched. He saw how domineering the knife just now was. Now that Ye Qiu took out the knife again, how could he feel that Ye was going to do something earth-shattering? Don't worry, Ulu is different from you. She is no longer a living being and is not as fragile as you think. So, now, realize the power of death that belongs to you. What? Not a living being anymore? Whether it was Gray, Leon, or Arudia, who was studying the moon drop, after hearing Ye Qiu's words, they all showed extreme panic. Obviously Ulu was a living person. Do not believe? Ye Qiu was too lazy to explain. Seeing the existence of Ningwulu is entirely due to the fact that these guys are full of magic power. In this world, people with the aptitude to practice magic basically have the ability to see souls. Of course, the premise is that the soul must be as strong as the soul of death.
Hello, everyone! As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500+ novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.